Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
We'll see what happens. We'll know in a very short period of time, but it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good.
I am a dissident.
Don't move. Move.
I'm saying no. Why you hear Palantir, 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 Palantir? It's not going to be stopped.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list.
Turns off.
I am not a church boy.
Turns off.
They're full-on vampires.
They hate our beef. They hate our beef. They hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Hello, dissidents. Welcome, one and all, to a special Tuesday Festivus pre-Christmas edition of the Do Dissidents podcast. Keaton Weiss here with Russell Davila, of course.
Hello.
How is everybody doing today? Appreciate you all being here. This is our last show of the Christmas season. Thursday is Christmas Day. We are obviously off Christmas, and then we will, of course, be back on Sunday. But a happy Festivus to all who celebrate. Seinfeld really ruined Festivus, though. I mean, he really did. Talk about really taking all the joy out of Festivus. Can't even take any pleasure in Festivus. If you thought Hanukkah was bad, wait till Festivus is totally destroyed.
Ruined.
Yeah,
ruined.
Exactly. Yeah, totally ruined. Totally ruined. Nothing you can do about that. No redemption for Festivus. But actually, Festivus is an extra special day for me. It's my wife and I's dating anniversary, not our wedding anniversary, but our dating anniversary. So it's a big one. 15 years together today.
15 years since your first date today?
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
15 years, big milestone. So shout out to the wife Amanda if she watches this on the replay. They're wrapping presents now. So we got the Christmas shop is in full swing here at the Weiss household, which is why I cannot join Russell tonight. But Russell, you will be appearing on the Katie Halper show this evening, correct?
I will be.
Awesome.
We're going to be counting down the top 10 Christmas songs written by Jews.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Or top 10 Christmas songs with the royalties seized by Jews.
With the royalties going to the Zog.
Top 10 Christmas windfalls for Jews in terms of the carols. Yeah, there you go. So that'll be, what does that start? 7 o'clock?
Well, we're doing, nobody ever plays this anymore. The Protocols by Irving Berlin.
Right.
We're doing that one.
Yeah. Busting out all the hits.
Yep.
Busting out all the hits. So, yes, that'll be, I think, 7 o'clock Eastern is when she starts. So tune into that. Russell will be there this evening. And, of course, today's show, we will be... Oops, Russell just disappeared. What the hell happened? Yep, that's not good. That's not good at all. Something happened over there. Let me see what happened. Hold on. I'm going to have to call him and find out about that because that's a total crash. That just everything totally disappeared. Oh, there he is. Come on back in. What happened?
I'm having your problems today, man.
I'm
having all kinds of issues. Well, it's a good thing I'm not going first.
Yeah. You're going to basically have to load in everything again. Wow. That is brutal. Yeah. I wonder what could be.
I don't know. This actually has never happened before.
Yeah.
I don't know what's it may be the internet spotty. It's storming out.
Oh, okay.
Storming today.
All right.
That could be it.
That could be it. That could be. Maybe it's a spotty internet. All right. Well, I will get started then. It is.
What am I first? Epstein?
Yeah, exactly. We are going to be finishing the show out for patrons only today. So final couple of segments on the show today are for patrons, and then we will have a special holiday patron Q&A. So if you'd like to sign up and get access to that, there's still time. Go to patreon.com/do dissidents. catch the last 2 segments of today's show, plus join us for our pre-Christmas holiday hangout with our callers. So that's patreon.com/2dissidents. If you sign up, the most recent post on there is the one with the link to join the post game. The post game room is already active. How many people? We already got 21 hanging out in the VIP room over there on the secret Rumble link for members only. Alrighty, folks, we will jump right in. It is Christmas time, and it is Christmas in Palestine. And for the first time in 2 years, Christmas looks a little bit, at least, like Christmas. So Gaza Notifications posts, for the first time in 2 years of Israel's genocide in Gaza, Christmas is being observed inside the Latin Monastery Church in Gaza with prayers for peace and for the protection of innocent civilians. Here's some video. What's going on?
You having problems too? So maybe it's a StreamYard issue if you're having trouble. Or maybe the whole region is just like a little spotty. Are you storming up there too?
I'm not storming. No, it's cloudy, but yeah, no, I'm totally frozen here. Can anybody hear me?
I hear you.
So if I take that off and I go here, yeah, I can't do anything.
Really?
I can't do shit. Hang on. Let me try something.
We are Oh, well that didn't work. Sorry, folks. We do not control all the horizontals and all the verticals out there. There seem to be some technical issues going on. Since we're both having issues, my guess would be StreamYard.
It's got to be StreamYard, unless it's like...
Got to be StreamYard, because, yeah, it's the only reason it would be happening to both of us.
To both of us. Why would it be happening to both of us? That's so weird.
And these are like weird glitches that I've never had before.
Yeah, they're very strange. They're very strange. Okay, well, here, I'm going to have to load in all my stuff again because now I just got bounced.
I mean, my Epstein thing has so few videos that it's already loaded in.
All right, go ahead. You do that, and I'll try mine, and we'll see how far we get here today, folks. We'll do the best we can. It's out of our control.
I mean, there is another possibility for why this is happening. I wore the 666 shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Christmas.
Yeah, that could be.
Jesus is messing with us now. He doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. He doesn't think it's funny.
You never know. You never know. All right. Well, all right. Go ahead, and we'll see what we could do.
Okie doke. So more and more coming out about the Epstein files. Now, this is the upside to having incompetent crackpot, half-ass, tin pot fascists in charge. They make really, really dumb mistakes that sometimes work out to the public's benefit. They redacted this so badly that Ed Krasenstein, of all people, was able to figure out how to unredact some of the original file drop.
Able to recover some of the redactions to Trump's Epstein files, and you won't believe what I just found. The Trump DOJ screwed up some of the redactions so bad that you can recover them. And I did so simply by copying and pasting the text. When I did, this is what was there. This is 100% proof that Trump tried to cover up the existence of other participants in Epstein's crimes. It says right here that they paid large sums of money to participant witnesses in order to keep them quiet, as well as their attorney's fees. This means that Trump tried to hide the fact that there's other participants and other attorneys who know about it, as well as those who helped Epstein release damaging stories and destroy evidence. This is the biggest cover-up in American history.
He may not be exaggerating there. So they dropped a whole bunch of stuff that they got from their unredactions. This is one of them. Defendants Khan and Indike controlled and directed the activities of the other entities and personal bank accounts of Epstein accounts after they were funded. One, and frequently both of them, were officers or directors of Butterfly Trust of companies holding Epstein's real property as laid out below. Now, what's really interesting about this is they redacted it. Why did you redact this? Because this indicates there are co-conspirators. There's no reason to do that other than to cover up for the people who aided and abetted Epstein. Why else would you redact this? It doesn't name any victims. This is from Adam Cochran. Pam Bondi closed the Epstein files, saying there were no co-conspirators and Epstein didn't traffic. An FBI email from 2019 specifically mentioned 10 co-conspirators identified. Other documents claim as many as 20. Even if you somehow think Trump is innocent, it's clear the FBI is protecting criminals. What did Cash say? What did Cash say in Congress? No indication that there are any co-conspirators. Well, apparently that's not true. So the investigation here, most of this remains redacted, was into Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret, who inexplicably hired Jeffrey Epstein as a financial advisor. This guy who could have hired anybody hired this guy with no real qualifications for that job. One of the many mysterious things in this case. So the message reads, of the 10 co-conspirators, 3 have been located in Florida and served GJ subpoenas. 1 in Boston, 1 in New York City, and 1 in Connecticut were located and served. 4 of the 10 are outstanding with attempts having been made. 1 is a wealthy businessman in Ohio. A lead is being sent to CV. The remaining 3 are currently out of pocket. The team, 8 SAs, TFOs, 2 AUSAs, is flying out tonight, tomorrow to various locations in Florida to interview approximately 25 victims. The 1-800-CALL FBI line is up and running. We have received approximately 45 calls, which we are in the process of vetting out. Let me know if you need anything else. Sean. And below that, good morning. A/SC is requesting an update on the 10 co-conspirators by COB today. Can you tell us how many have successfully been located, interviewed, served with GJS? I believe the breakdown was 5 in New York, 1 in North Carolina, 1 in Boston, and 3 in Florida. So whether you want to say, well, these people were not indicted, they were not convicted, Kash Patel is guilty of perjury. There's no doubt now that he perjured himself when he said that there was no indication in their files of co-conspirators. It's right there in black and white. They were investigating co-conspirators.
I don't know. This feels kind of like the Salem witch trials to me.
It's like the Salem witch trials. It's like the protocols of the elders of Zion. It's anti-Semitism. No, those guys. What? That's quite a wrecking crew there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the 17th century anymore.
PDF files. It's really amazing. But hey, they that will be no bar to entry for a job at ZBS. Melanie De Origo shared this out. This is pretty disturbing. We don't usually do trigger warnings, but this is so grotesque. I will issue one here for anyone who might be disturbed by graphic tales of self-deletion and assault. Blank asked Blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in this Dallas-Fort Worth area. During Blank time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Blank noted he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. Blank reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his cell phone were very concerning. Blank reported he was a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying, as caller chose not to. Blank noted Trump continuously stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone and made references to abusing some girl. Blank was unsure who he was talking to nor who he was referencing. As Blank talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, Blank demeanor went stone cold as Blank stated, he graped me. Blank said what, as Blank replied, Donald J. Trump had graped her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Blank noted some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel or building. That's how it happened. Funny name like Jelaine, maybe?
Yeah, like Ghislaine, Ghislaine, you know, that sounds like a name people have trouble with. Could be
Yeah,
her.
sounds like that's a pretty funny name. I don't know if I ever heard that name until this case broke.
Yeah.
Blank
That sounds like something
advised.
an anti-Semite would think.
It's very anti-Semitic. It's like the Salem witch trials. It's terrible. Leave these poor billionaire PDF files alone, is what I say. Blank advised Blank to call the police regarding the incident as Blank stated, I can't, they will kill me. On Christmas Day, Blank contacted Blank stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Blank told Blank she had done good. Blank did not hear from Blank or Blank until 1/10/2000. Blank reached out to Blank stating Blank was dead and noted she was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and Blank stated there was no way it was a self-deletion. Coroner stated it was a self-deletion. Blank later stated Blank self-deleted because Blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the murder is a cover for Jelaine. So the name actually comes up in the document. Well, this is all very odd given that we were told there are no co-conspirators, no evidence against Donald Trump. Very interesting stuff coming out now. Adam Cochran again. Wow. It looks like a U.S. attorney may have illegally tipped off the Trump campaign in 2020, emailing Trump traveled on Epstein's jet many more times than previously reported, including times during which they planned to charge Maxwell for, and they didn't want it to be a surprise down the road. It's a big club, folks. You ain't in it.
We are now.
Well,
Now we know.
Well, now we are.
At least we're privy to it more than we were a few
Some
hours
of it.
ago.
For your situational awareness, wanted to let you know that the flight records we received yesterday reflect that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported, or that we were aware, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. In particular, he is listed on a passenger on at least 8 flights between 1993 and 1996, including at least 4 flights on which Maxwell was also present. He is listed as having traveled with, among others and at various times, Marla Maples, his daughter Tiffany, and his son Eric. On one flight in 1993, he and Epstein are the only 2 listed passengers. On another, the only 3 passengers are Epstein, Trump, and then 20-year-old Blank. On 2 other flights, 2 of the passengers, respectively, were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. We've just finished reviewing the full records, more than 100 pages of very small script, and didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. Yeah, no, that's your job as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. Warn principals who are named in investigations that they might come up in these documents. And of course, there's this. I mean, I don't know how anybody, after seeing this image, could deny that Trump was a definite passenger on the Epstein plane, on the Lolita Express. Here's something that we've heard a lot. Supposedly, Jelaine claimed that she had these tapes, and when you look at the kind of treatment she's gotten, seems like there's probably some truth to that. But according to released documents, Trump is on tapes. So from the relevant part, he provided a background for himself. Take that down. Take that down. Such as working with prominent business figures such as Leslie Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, being pardoned by a U.S. president, among several other pieces of information. Blank found Blank online and reached out. as she is a victim of Epstein and she has been in contact with hundreds of other victims. She is trying to publish a book. So that's the background on the person who gave the testimony. Blank knew about criminal activity which happened in multiple states on airplanes, etc. Blank claimed there were films of men who were recorded. These men are prominent figures such as Epstein, President Bill Clinton, and President Donald Trump. Maxwell is also on the tapes. Well, if you were, say, a good reporter and you had multiple unconnected people making very similar claims, you might try to focus on trying to validate those claims or investigating why different people who don't know each other are claiming the same exact thing about tapes and they're mentioning the same exact people on the tapes. Or you could claim that it's anti-Semitic to ask those questions. Now, one of those might get you a job at CBS and one of them won't. I'll leave it to the viewers to figure out which is which. Julie Brown here. Feds flag photo of sloppy Steve Bannon and Ghislaine Maxwell that was found on Bannon's phone in 2021. Not clear when photo was taken, and the photo itself is redacted, which it should not be, right? They're only supposed to be redacting victims. Why did they redact a photo of sloppy Steve if these redactions are not aimed, as we also saw in the Krasenstein copy paste discovery? Did such a bang up job here. He was able to copy paste the black bars and get the text. They're just covering up for powerful, wealthy people. It's against the law. It's a violation of the law that was signed by Donald Trump. But here's a take that's going to age like milk that didn't last an hour. From Mr. Screw F you if you don't like it, best Biden ever. Here's another one of Joe Scarborough's bangers.
The great mysteries to me and a lot of other people is we've had reporting for some time. Donald Trump is not on Epstein's list. There's nothing in there that's really damning about Donald Trump. And as Susie Wild says, not damning about Donald Trump
According to the chief
or Bill Clinton. So one of the great mysteries all along in this, not been like, what's Donald Trump hiding? What did he do? It's like, why, if he's not in these files, which all the reporting says he's not,
no, it doesn't.
Why is he so obsessed?
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
Access to the files. Is he trying to protect somebody?
Joe, you got to the actual heart of the question, and it's actually not been reported. One of the reasons Marjorie Taylor Greene got on board with Massey and my effort is she fundamentally believed that Trump was not implicated, and she would call the president and say, look, just get these out. I don't know why you're not getting it out. And she would tell Massey and me, of course he's going to come around. And every press conference we had, we never made it about Donald Trump. We made it about the survivors. The survivors pleaded with Donald Trump. You can be a hero. No previous president has done this. Release the files. And what people are asking, and frankly, even I'm asking, is what are they hiding? Why is it that they're not releasing the draft 60-count indictment when they only charged Epstein with 2 counts? Why aren't they releasing the 82-page prosecution memo of all the implications he had with rich and powerful folks? Why are they protecting this Epstein class? And why aren't they releasing the FBI interviews? Every time they do one of these things of concealing, they're just raising further doubt.
Yeah, this really demonstrates why someone like Joe Scarborough has a job. His job is to be a propagandist and to protect powerful people. And all of the, oh, we hate Donald Trump. It's wrestling, man. It's WWE. Here he is. What other explanation do you have for that than the famously litigious Donald Trump has scared the shit out of all these networks, particularly networks that are looking perhaps at mergers, acquisitions that are going to have to be approved by the FCC, that they have been told not to say anything that could piss off Donald Trump. So what does he do here? He can't say absolutely nothing to see in these files. Well, it gives an appearance of impropriety. Is he trying to cover for other people? Yeah, that take didn't last the afternoon. If you got a job like this based on your skill, based on your credibility, Best Biden ever would have been the end of his career. That would have been the end. And there, it certainly wasn't the first bad take from Joe Scarborough, but it was the most glaring, viral, oh my God, why is this guy given a job opining about politics? Like, if he believed that, he's a moron. And if he didn't believe it, he can't be trusted to tell the public the truth, which none of these people are. But he made it so obvious that he's not credible. But he's still in that chair, man. Over a year later, he still has that job. That's why he has that job, to say things like that at moments like this.
Yeah, it's a complete lie that no one thought Donald Trump was in the files. Everyone, it was common, I wouldn't say common knowledge, but it was widespread expectation that he would be named in the documents. By files and by list, we don't mean there's an actual list of men to receive sex trafficking victims. That list would not have existed unless maybe Tyler Robinson ran a sex trafficking ring. Then there would be a list like that the FBI would find and sell to all of us, right?
It would be written in 1930s prose.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody expected that. Everybody expected Donald Trump to be named in the document. So it's just an outright, I mean, that's beyond propaganda. That's just an outright lie that he was not expected to have appeared in the files. And shame on Ro Khanna for validating that.
Yes.
What are you doing?
He chose not to challenge Scarborough there. Now, is that because you're trying to, build momentum for getting these files released, so you don't want to contradict these people? That's the kindest interpretation. I think you have to challenge these people whenever you can, whenever you have the opportunity to do so, in order to make it impossible for them to do that kind of narrative control, which at this point, it really is impossible. As we'll see in the Weiss story, and somebody who commented on that story, who was in one of the articles about it, said, you can't stop the reporters anymore because they have direct contact to the public. You can't gatekeep a story like this the way that you used to anymore. People like Scarborough are there for very inside the Beltway participants. It's really, if you look at the newspapers that they favor, like the Washington Post, it's like a hometown newspaper for well-connected political people. That's it. That's what Scarborough is there for. He's there to please a very privileged, powerful class, but the opinions that people like Scarborough express at this point have less than zero impact on the public. I think people almost assume the opposite when they hear somebody like that speak now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as for these leaks, I mean, this is what we said all along. Big picture, this is just not politically survivable. Like these stories are everywhere now.
Greenland.
I mean, now you have, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, now you have, this was front page CNN. This story is going to be everywhere. Now you have, his name being bandied about, more accusations. That he was on the Lolita Express, that he was on the plane more than originally thought. I mean, obviously, we all just read the documents right now. I mean, it's really, really damning stuff. And of course it was in there. Of course, it's the most obvious thing in the world it was in there. Wait, you really think, why would he be calling it a hoax this whole time? Why? There's only one reason for that. Now, I understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene was playing both sides and saying, no, we're not accusing the president of being in, because she has to kind of be the MAGA, sort of heroine who's sticking true to her principle. And so she has to give Trump the benefit of every doubt until she can't anymore, because that's her brand. Right. But there's no reason Ro Khanna should be entertaining any of that. And eventually it's all going to come out. And I can't wait to hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say about these dumps.
Well, and as more and more of this comes out, it's going to put moments like the cringe, sweaty joint interview that Bongino and Patel did, claiming, no, why would we lie? Why would we lie? And it was so clear that Bongino wanted to crawl out of his own skin. Now we know, the more of these things you see, the more you know this is what they had seen before they went and did these interviews. Yep. This is what's in their mind. Oh my God. Now, Cash is a careerist, This is the man who wrote a children's book, casting himself as a wizard protecting King Donald. He's fine with it. Bongino looked so uncomfortable in that interview because I think he was a true believer. And then he found out, wow, I just went to work for the thing I thought I was fighting. And now if I don't want to wind up in a ditch someplace, I have to cover for these people.
Yep. And look at the timing of his resignation announcement, right?
Yep.
I mean, it all points in one direction. Pretty obviously.
Interesting.
Pretty clearly. It was pretty foreseeable that this was going to be how it all went down.
Well, and you can also, the fact that they released those files and then pulled them back, they don't know what the fuck to do. Because Bondi is on the verge of getting impeached, and it could happen. It could happen. We discussed this the other night. There is so much pressure on these Republicans to release the Epstein files. Once you get that motion on the floor, how do you stop it? So that would be my read on why those files came out to begin with. That Bondi is worried about getting impeached, possibly prosecuted after that. Trump certainly, if she has any objectivity about who she works for, he's never shown any particular loyalty to his hench people. He's always been willing to throw them over the side when they become politically inconvenient. So to assume he's going to come in and save her, it's not a good assumption. Maybe he'll pardon her on the way out the door. It's assuming he doesn't drop dead of a heart attack, which with a guy that age, with his diet, could happen on any given day. And Vance might not feel that obligation. But then what happened? What happened? She got a call from the boss or Susie or somebody, and they pulled them back. But it's too late because everyone expects this from them now. So as soon as these things came out, everyone downloaded them.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, besides the power that is technically bestowed upon Donald Trump as the chief executive, which he still has, and it is still great, and it is still a lot of power. Beyond that power, the presidency is essentially over. He's lost control of the Congress. He's lost the bully pulpit. And no one cares what he has to say anymore. It seems now that not only are congressional Republicans not afraid of him anymore, it seems now that you're going to start seeing, just like rats on a sinking ship, the cabinet itself start to think, okay, how do I save myself from this? Because this is just extraordinarily damning. There's no other way to put it. I can't wait to see what the next Michael Tracy, Matt Taibbi Racket News team up is over this. But there's just no way to spin this, I don't think.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a furious debunking of all this.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, boy. All right. Let's go to some super chats. I'm just going to put this up as a test for a second or two. Good. Just want to make sure it works. Okay. All right. You got some super chats there?
Sure do.
All right.
Joe W. Merry Christmas. The best Christmas movie is War of the Roses. Best Christmas video game is Bully. And the best Christmas meal are wings.
All right.
I'll buy that.
Merry Christmas to you as well.
JDE Santos. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
French Laundry, super sticker. Thank you, French Laundry. Tenured Village Idiot. That's a good one. Won't anyone think of the real victim, Trump? He is. They keep hitting him. Everyone's very mean to him. Michael Castillo gifted one due dissidents membership. Thank you. In the spirit of Christmas.
Thank you, Michael.
RBGH fam. Not saying those stories are not true. I don't know. Can someone give me a good explanation why these weren't leaked before the presidential election? Because they're all in the files.
Yeah, because Bill Clinton's in them.
I never understand that question.
Yeah,
they're
Bill
all
Clinton's
in them.
Right.
They're all in them. We're not partisan here.
Right.
It's a very partisan. It assumes that anyone you would be talking to is partisan.
Well, I think what they're saying is why wouldn't
they're
they
going to get stumped?
Right. Why wouldn't they? I think what they're saying is why wouldn't they release these Trump before the election? And the answer is because there would be blowback because they're in them too. Right.
Exactly.
And ultimately, it's a big
not
club.
a
They don't
partisan
want this
thing
stuff to come out. Right.
That's what Bongino found out to his horror, and that's what Patel found out to his shrug. He didn't care.
Right.
Like, wish I had gotten in on that action before he self-deleted there.
Exactly. All right, let's take some Rumble rants over here. By the way, 2019 in the YouTube chat. That is good for one of the. And we're at 522 in the like column. Let's smash that like button, everybody, please, and thank you so much. Ezra Klein, Barry Weiss is killing stories in the right way. Ha ha ha. This little Christmas sugar plum encapsulates the entire project. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Biden. Turning Point USA has recreated the tent where Charlie was assassinated for photos and selfies. Satanic black magic, sick shit. PGAKAPW. Thank you, Abiding. Eric Rousseau, Ben Shapiro, tiny horse stables and kitty rides. Thank you. Nice news here, Keaton. Yeah, I got news here going today for sure. T-Bones has been a supporter since fall of 2022, and you two keep getting better and better at your craft. Russ, we all can't wait for your next adventure in Asia. Absolutely love you all to bits. Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, T-Bone.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Very much. T-Bone says, always thought Katie and Russ were very compatible personality-wise. Russ, get Katie to spill the tea on Matt Taibbi. I bet she has juice. DD rocks, Jake included, of course.
It is not my place to broach that topic on someone else's platform.
Yeah, no, that's what we're going to yeah. Call her out. Confront her on the show. Yeah.
I'm going ham on Katie Halper tonight.
Ham Hawk says Miss Rachel was robbed. Merry Christmas. Yes, that's right. Miss Rachel did not win Anti-Semite of the Year. We will get to that in due time. Of course, folks, this is our last show before Christmas, and it is Christmas in Palestine, and it is their most normal Christmas in 2 years. Of course, it's nowhere near normal there. I don't want to put too sort of sugary an image in your mind of things. But life is resuming and carrying on. And so for the first time in 2 years of Israel's genocide in Gaza, Christmas is being observed inside the Latin Monastery Church in Gaza with prayers for peace and the protection of innocent civilians. Here's some video. And, of course, they got a visit from the People's Pope, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa. Here he is surrounded by children as he releases doves at Holy Family Church. And, yes, this is the Holy Family Church that was struck months back. When was that? In July of 2025. So let's take a look. What a guy. We are still here. Catholic Patriarch leads Christmas Mass at Gaza Church bombed by Israel during the war. That's right. That's the same church. The most senior Catholic cleric in the Holy Land urged Palestinians not just to survive, but to rebuild life in Gaza as he led Christmas Mass there on Sunday against the backdrop of apocalyptic destruction and displacement. Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, went to the Holy Family Church in Gaza City in his fourth trip to the Palestinian enclave after Israel launched its campaign there, and for the first time since a deadly Israeli strike on the parish in July. We are in a very precarious situation like many others in practically all of Gaza, Pizzaballa told worshipers at the parish in a sermon on Sunday. We think that the powers of the world will decide our future, But then in reality, it is we, the people here, who will decide how to rebuild everything, he said. I encourage you, don't lose your hope. Now we are in a new phase of this situation. We have not just to survive, but also to rebuild life. And he also took a swipe at Donald Trump by insisting they're not going to build resorts there in Gaza. They're going to build their lives the way we, meaning the people there, want.
The beautiful, especially beginning, there were plans to transform near Gaza into prisons. But we are here.
لكن ما زلنا هون.
We will not build resorts.
مش راح نعمر ريزورت.
We will rebuild our life as we want.
راح نبني حياتنا مثل ما احنا.
Good for him. You know, this guy, not only did he get robbed of the papacy, but he also missed out on Anti-Semite of the Year, this guy. You know, where was he?
He wasn't even nominated.
He got snubbed twice, this guy. First, he loses the Pope election, and then he gets snubbed for Anti-Semite of the Year. That doesn't get you on the Anti-Semite of the Year list? What are they doing over there at Stop Anti-Semitism? You know what he is in the running for, though? Dissident of the Year. Our year-end awards are coming up on our last show of 2025, which will be, I guess, a week from today, right? Yeah, that makes sense. And he'll be on the list for sure. Beautiful photos of Christmas festivities during a pastoral visit by Latin Patriarch Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa to the Homely Family Church in Gaza. The festivities included a Christmas Mass, Christmas play, children taking their first Holy Communion, and the distribution of Christmas gifts for the children. God bless them all. Warning, you might cry a little bit looking at these photos. I got a little tear in my eye the first time I found these. These are kind of amazing. But here he is with the kids, putting on a play, putting on a choir performance. Gorgeous church. I mean, look at the colors there. It's amazing. There they are. Really moving stuff here, of course. Palestinian children at the Holy Family Catholic Church in Gaza perform a nativity play for Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa. So here is some of their performance. And
I mean, they were very enthusiastic. I found it a little flat, though. I thought the staging was a little, weak. You know, not very sensitive to. I didn't feel the grandeur, and the nuns just ruined it. They were not in the moment at all.
No, he didn't buy it. Russ didn't buy it. It was good effort,
especially
but I didn't buy
second from the left, Wise man.
That
kid needs some acting lessons.
Exactly. Here's some more photos from his trip. There he is watching another performance with kids in their Santa hats. There he is outside the church, of course, again. And here he is giving a little press conference. Mass at the Church of the Holy Family during his visit to Gaza City in July 2025. Of course, Israel struck this church and killed 3 people and injured many others. So here he is taking some press questions.
هنا في غزة زي حالة باقي الناس صرنا كل شيء. They are living here in very precarious situation. بيعيشوا هنا حوالينا في هذا الدير مثل ما انتم شايفين في ظروف مش مستقرة. We transformed the churches, everything in housing. حولنا الكنيسة والدير كامل إلى سكن. But we will focus first of all school. ولكن راح نركز على مدارس. There is no future without education. ما في مستقبل بدون التربية والتعليم. So school, مدارس. To support with other organization, health system. وراح ندعم مع مشاركة مع مؤسسات أخرى النظام الصحي. And
as soon as possible housing وبأقرب وقت السكن.
It mentions health system and housing. And yeah, he didn't just go to the church. Pierre Battista Pizzaballa visited Al-Ahil Hospital in Gaza, where he met with doctors, nurses, and medical staff who continue their life-saving work under extreme conditions. He witnessed firsthand the severe shortages of medical supplies, the lack of equipment, and the extensive damage to multiple hospital buildings. Despite repeated attacks, the staff persist in providing care to the wounded and the sick. Al-Ahil Hospital has been directly targeted by Israeli shelling more than 8 times, yet it remains a critical lifeline for civilians amid the ongoing devastation in Gaza. And here he is touring one of the hospitals with the staff. Some more photos here. These are great pictures. It really came out pretty terrific. So he didn't just go to the church site. He visited the hospitals and, of course, the tent encampments. A couple more great photos here. Visited displacement camps in Gaza City today. So yeah, obviously, it's great to see life start to resume. It's great to see those church services taking place. But of course, life in Gaza, anything but normal. I don't want people to lose sight of the dire conditions there that still persist. So there he is visiting one of the tent cities. And just a cruel reminder of what life is still like there. Here's a recent photo. It is winter, so it is the rainy season. And so this is life for so many there. And, of course, after the war, there is no longer happiness in our hearts. Christmas amid devastation. So here's a video report. The happiness is gone. Christmas is beautiful, but because of the situation we are in after the war, there is no longer happiness in our heart. With the loss of my son and my husband, the many martyrs, the situation is difficult for everyone. We have lived through many painful moments. Gaza is completely destroyed. Despite still hearing bombardments and other attacks, we try to make this prayer more spiritual than celebratory. In our hearts, there is great sadness for Gaza, for what has happened to it, for the people we have lost, our family members, friends, and loved ones, for the 2 years of war we have lived through. They were very difficult years marked by bombardments, destruction, hunger, and hardship. And here's Pizzaballa again.
My admiration more for the way the people of Gaza lived in this situation. From one side, we saw how the powerful people of the world want to decide for them. At the same time, we saw that the resilience of these people is what, at the end, will prevail.
Yeah, absolutely. Resilience is really the only word that comes to mind. That's Gaza. And, of course, in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ, which, of course, is located in the occupied West Bank, Christmas was back on after a 2-year blackout as well. So here's a report on AJ Plus on Christmas in Bethlehem. Palestinians are celebrating Christmas in Bethlehem for the first time in 2 years. Church leaders canceled the holiday festivities in 2023 and 2024 to draw attention to the Christian and Muslim victims of Israel's genocide in Gaza. Now a huge Christmas tree once again lights up Manger Square. And Palestinians of all faiths, along with pilgrims from around the world, are flooding the streets to celebrate.
This is the birthplace of Jesus Christ, and this is the first time after 2 years of the war, they have passed through a lot of agony and pain, unemployment, a lot of troubles and sadness. So it is time now that we share our happiness and joy to share this moment. And we also like to feel with the people in Gaza also as well, because this is an inspiration for them.
Some online accounts are trying to claim the festivities as an Israeli celebration. Bethlehem is in the occupied West Bank. And the Palestinian Christians who live there are part of the world's oldest Christian community. Israel has destroyed much of the Christian presence throughout the occupied West Bank, Gaza, and Israel. Since 2023, Israel has repeatedly bombed churches in Gaza, killing families sheltering inside. Israel has displaced nearly all 2 million people in the Gaza Strip. And experts estimate Israeli forces have killed over 100,000 people
We
in
are
over 2
suffering
years.
from all that Israeli occupation, and all the Palestinians still have a hope. Still, we believe in peace.
Many global church leaders have condemned the war and Israel's occupation and apartheid. The Vatican and Pope Leo have repeatedly condemned Israel's assault and called for ceasefires. So we saw Gaza, we saw the West Bank, including Bethlehem Munther Isaac, whose Christmas sermons we featured on this show for the last 2 years, which took place, to small gatherings inside a church because the festivities were blacked out and canceled. And you see, obviously, despite overwhelming odds, life begin to continue there. And I want to accent begin. Obviously, the intention of this segment is obviously not to sugarcoat the dire situation that still persists there. But it is amazing the resilience of these people to see that church crowd gathering, just to see everybody, dressed, in fairly clean clothes and looking sharp and going to this church, despite the fact that the entire infrastructure of their civilization has just been completely destroyed.
There's a reason that people around the world cry for Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa to be the next pope.
Of course.
That is the people's pope right there. And we called it early. I think we were the first. We were out ahead of most Catholics on that.
Oh, yeah. As soon as we saw his name.
As soon as we saw his name, we knew that is the people's choice for pope. The only downside is if he became pope, he'd have that pope name. You couldn't call him that anymore. So maybe that's actually, maybe he asked them to keep him on the outside so he could continue to promote the Catholic Church with the best name in theology.
Yeah. That's true.
Seeing that, we've talked sometimes on the show about my views on religion, which I must say are definitely, I've never been a big fan of organized religion. That's not to say I don't believe there's more to life than our material senses, or even that I think given that we understand the basis of our own existence so little, it would be the height of arrogance for anyone to claim that they understand what existence is, right? That they really get it. Nobody really knows that.
Right.
But in some way, religion does that, right? And that's part of the exception I take to it. But it's not because I think that, as some might say, that I'm a secular materialist. I'm certainly not.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Some people have accused me of that. At least one person has accused me of that.
Who we still love. We love. It's all good.
Who we love. Who just invited us to do a show, actually.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he texted us.
Okay.
That we love, that we're very good friends with. But you look at this, and this is religion at its best. This is the purpose of having an institution that is powerful out there, that ostensibly is meant to represent something better and finer than a prey, predator, kill or be killed materialist world. And Pier Battista Pizzaballa, all kidding aside, represents that as well and as anyone, and much better than most. I mean, that is a living testament to the best that is in Christianity. It's kind of a lot of people, talk about the Antichrist. You could say Pier Battista Pizzaballa is the anti-Huckabee. He really makes the case for being a Christian.
Yeah, of course. It's part of a certain fabric that gives you a certain fulfillment and a certain purpose that sort of transcends your material situation.
Right.
If family does that too, right? I mean, if you, like, we showed videos of these people in Gaza huddled in tents, with their grandkids, wrapped around them for warmth. And it's like, okay, that person doesn't have everything that a rich person has, but that person has everything to live for that a rich person has because they have
Right.
their family, right? So
Right.
even though their
Right.
material conditions are not in the same universe, they still have every reason to persist that someone of better material fortune has. So family is that for a lot of people, and religion is that for a lot of people,
Right.
right? If you have a connection to God, as much as it's something that I don't particularly understand as someone who's never been a religious person himself, that gives you a reason to go on. That is the exact same as a rich person with a connection to God. So yeah, it obviously is a source of purpose and a source of meaning and a source of fulfillment. And a lot of ill has been done in religion's name over human history, but here you see the upside to it, right? It gives people a reason to persist when they might otherwise give up. um, I always thought of religion as a lot like alcohol. If you use it responsibly, it can add a lot of fulfillment to your life. If you don't, it can ruin you and everyone
Well,
around you.
well, that's the thing. Like having always had a rather dim view of it on the whole. Uh, Israel has done nothing over the last couple of years to improve my attitude towards religion. Now you could say, well, it's a secular state. No, it isn't. The whole premise, the whole premise of Israel is built around what is essentially a religious claim. If you're claiming that you are the biblical Hebrews, and that's why you have a right to that land, you're treating the Bible as a historically accurate document, which the archaeology does not support at all. And even if it did, genetically, you are not those people. So even where Israelis claim to be secular, they're not. They're not essentially. The whole project is based on what is at its core a religious claim to an entitlement, to an absolute right to that land. That is religion at its worst, at its absolute worst, built around an exclusionary vision of the world used to justify atrocities and to pass responsibility for those atrocities to an unseen sky god who presides over it all, who commanded it, who wanted it that way, um, to see others as lesser who don't belong to this particular affiliation. It's just everything that's worst in religion is there in the Israeli state. But in Pierre Battista Pizzaballa, we see everything religion can do when used responsibly.
Yes, indeed. All right, can we take some super chats?
We sure can.
All right, before we do that, we are now at 711 in the like column. Oh, in the maiden shirt today. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
All right. Larry Coldwater. If Norman Finkelstein's name is on the list, that's it for me. I think that would be it for all of us, man. That would be it for all of us. Bitch Basket. Happy Hanukkah. Is it still Hanukkah? Is that still going on?
Is it still going on? I think it's one of the last days, right? Maybe it's not.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Growing up, I would always find out it was the Jewish holidays because my Catholic friends would wish me.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, it's Hanukkah? Oh, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. I would usually not know. Sean Hurl, Merry Christmas, my cyanide desert ambulant heroes. Thank you. Hook nose Red Sea pedestrians that we are.
Yeah.
Grandpa Caligula, screw Christmas. Happy Krampusnacht. Krampusnacht. There we go. Yeah. I gotta see that. I gotta see that movie Krampus as a possibility for our movie night. I've never actually seen it.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty funny. Sparky, great work, fellas. Greetings from my remote, heavily wooded lair campsite. Had to place my phone in a narrow beam of RF to listen to the show. Not much cell coverage down here. I love the outdoors. That sounds pretty cool.
There you go. Well, you should get the Elon thing. What is it? Starlink? You just put the thing down?
Starlink. Yeah. I looked at that. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Michael Castillo, did you get my Adam Sandler super chat today?
Was there at
see
one?
that today?
Maybe it didn't come through. Maybe it crashed out when our StreamYard crashed out. Let me see if I find it, because our StreamYard crashed and it could have disappeared it from the list. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that must have been the case. So here it says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Adam Sandler's wife, Jackie, what is that? Titonis? Father Joey Titone was the lawyer for Jean-Luc Brunel. He trafficked girls to Epstein.
Really?
He was found hanging in his cell in Paris, France." Oh, wow.
I did not know that connection.
I did not know that either. Thank you, Michael.
You should. You know what? You should super chat that to Michael Tracy.
Yeah, right.
He'll get on
Yeah.
that. Dark Matter Zombies. Happy holidays to the heroes of Palestine and due dissidents community. When Palestine is free, we all will be free. Much love and many hugs to all. And of course,
Thank you,
Dark
Andrew.
Matter Zombies is Landrew's burner account there. It's his burner name. So thank you, Landrew. You want to pick up some Rumble rants?
Yeah, let's pick up some Rumble
I'll get
rants
his sound drop and hopefully not crash my system.
over here. Let me see what happened to my Rumble rants. Here they are. Brock's comrade. Dee Dee's. There we go. Best news analysis. Take a break for a few days. All the best for the season. Thank you, Bronx comrade.
Thank you.
We are off for a few days after this. Noah Goop says Jeff Epstein was a nobody and a loser who nobody should care about as far as Trump is concerned. Thank you, Noah. Don't forget, Naomi Campbell was involved in all this. So thank you, Kenman. Pizza Balla did not like the play. He gave it 2 slices out of 5 in his review. Yeah, yeah, he should do a movie vlog. Slices of pizza. That's good. I like that one, Kenman. Very clever.
I did not define that the movie Halloween is scary because I keep thinking of William Shatner.
You're right. Exactly. Nujoma, friends of the family in South Africa are emigrating to the U.S. I was not aware that it's still happening. Seems to be all hush-hush. Does anybody know more about this? Friends of your family? So you know you have Afrikaners who are coming here? Is that right? I guess the door is still open. I mean, they had fewer than 60 on the first flight, but I guess the door is still open. I mean, they said that. What's her name said that in the press conference, that the refugee stuff is suspended except for Afrikaners fleeing persecution. Vienticus Prime says everything's a scam, everything's a lie. How many cities on New Year's do you think will be part of a false flag holiday? Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. We will hope that does not happen. They said they foiled one. That was what that supposed plot was,
what they
right?
claim.
Yeah.
I am no joke. I am very concerned that there's going to be a false flag while I'm away, and I'm going to have to make like a decision about whether I want to come back.
Yeah, no, it's very scary. Very, very scary. No doubt. No doubt about it. All right, folks, we are going to move right on along here. All right, so we covered TPUSA's AmFest thoroughly on the last show. So we're not going to beat a dead horse anymore after this. After this. So this
one
is
more.
the last. One more.
One more kick for that horse.
Starting in a few minutes. We're not going to beat a dead horse anymore. But this was good. This was good. And hey, it's Christmassy, right? It's a Christmas show. Here's Tim Dillon dressed all up as Santa Claus, calling TPUSA a bad reality show. It feels like you're being played. It seems off. So here he is giving his take on America Fest.
Point kind of abomination that the right wing of this country has turned into like a bad reality show. And it's all of the fault of everyone, by the way. It's the fault of everyone speaking and everyone attending, and there's nobody that gets everything about this is weird and uncomfortable for everyone. And I'm not saying she killed her husband or knew about it or whatever. I'm saying the guy got shot 3 months ago, and she walks out to a pyrotechnic display, and then she goes, "We're going to elect J.D. Vance." It's weird that that's where her head is at. It's difficult for many people to relate to. It's not relatable for people that talked about how Hollywood isn't relatable.
Exactly.
And Hollywood is out of touch. This looks a lot like Hollywood to most people.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
Worse.
And I think, I think we kind of touched on that, when it comes to, like, because you mentioned when we did the Erica Kirk thing that, Charlie's views on women, generally speaking, were that, they're better suited in the home, and that now the sort of trad wife has to become a girl boss. And yeah, this kind of feels a bit like Hollywood in the sense that you kind of get a sense that that's all an act. Yeah. What I will tell you is that in almost every case, I mean, I sense that Matt Walsh is like a true believer. But in almost every case, in almost every case, there's no such thing as like a trad wife in this space. Benny Johnson's beard there. I mean, wife, sorry. His wife is an influencer herself. She has a career, right? Like, if you are functioning at this level of the media space, you are a go-getter. And go-getters tend to swim in circles with other go-getters, and they tend to meet and fall in love and get married. That's why speaking of Hollywood, that's why Hollywood people tend to marry other Hollywood people, whether they're producers or actors or costume designers. If you're rich like that, it's because you want to be rich like that. So this whole like Little House on a Prairie image that they put out of themselves is mostly bullshit. These are careerists. These are go-getters. Like you said, doesn't mean she killed her husband. I don't believe that. I don't believe she doesn't mourn her husband, but it does mean that. It does mean that so much of what you see is a facade. That is a product being manufactured for your viewing pleasure. And for you to sort of find something in common with people who have very little in common with you, really very little in common. And yeah, I thought the exact same thing. This is why Hollywood is so unrelatable to the average person. And yet here they are putting on this very Hollywood-like presentation as their conference. I'll play the rest. Do you have anything to add before?
Well, yeah. In the piece we did about the dating story, the Madonna whore story, as I think of it. She, if you look at her old pre-marriage social media profile, she describes herself, I think it was as a social media entrepreneur.
Right.
So she was not aspiring to be a trad wife. This is why I'm saying she particularly in this new role, she really evokes the character in A Handmaid's Tale, who was the wife of the owner of the protagonist, where you see she had been this almost like Pearl figure, where she was like a very prominent author in the old world by being an anti-feminist. But by definition, if that's your gig, you're not conforming to that standard. That standard is you're not supposed to be out there speaking up, writing books, going out on book tours, right? If you're doing that, it's probably because you want to have a very high media profile, and that's the way you're doing it. That is completely consistent with what Erica Kirk is doing now, which reflects, as it has from the beginning of her career, she doesn't actually believe any of that shit.
Right.
If she did, she'd go find a man and put a man in charge, right?
Yeah, put a man in charge.
To most people. And to go out through a stream of fireworks and sparklers and stand there in a glittering pantsuit and talk about electing J.D. Vance 3 months after your husband was killed, many people feel that there is something off about that. And we're starting to see that political people are the exact same thing as the Hollywood elites that they all love to dunk on. And we all look at this. This is Megan Thee Stallion twerking at the Kamala rally.
Yeah,
this is deeply unsettling to a lot of people. It feels like you're being played. You feel it. It seems off. You feel like this is a coordinated and choreographed spectacle so that you are played. They want your money.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's a lot of what show business is. That's why I think the comparison to Hollywood is a very good one. It's a very good one because even to the extent that like very rich and successful people are nice and charitable and generous, and many of them are, but they're different. They are a different breed. They are cut from a different cloth for the ordinary person because of the amount of ambition it takes to get that high up, the amount of good fortune it takes, often the amount of privilege you have to be born into in the first place. Don't forget, Erica Kirk got an interview with Charlie Kirk. How does that happen? Well, what are they?
Yeah.
Recruiting Uber drivers to go
She was on a
with
dating reality show
with Charlie Kirk, right? I mean, she was an entry level celebrity at the time. She wasn't famous, but she was on an inside track to building a profile for herself, right? So these people are just different from ordinary people, and so much of the conservative movement and what used to be part of the liberal movement too. I mean, the Democrats used to want to posture as working class heroes, although they kind of gave that up a while ago. But for a conservative movement that really grounds itself in a very salt of the earth, God-fearing, heartland, ordinary, John and Jane sort of image, the people who are at the top of the influence scheme here are really anything but that. That's not to say they're all like terrible people. It means they're different from you. And it means that what they are putting in the screen for you to consume is very much a consumer product. It is a curated version of who they are. Just like everybody's social media is a curated version of who they are. They do the same thing. And in their case, there's a much bigger disconnect between their experience of life and yours, because they are in the top 1/10 of 1%, both in terms of profile and in terms of wealth. And of course, that makes them different from us. Different. And so when you come out and you do this whole, go to church and, raise children and, live the way God intended, you see, obviously, a lot of that is branding and nothing more. And I think that's what he kind of hit on there. And I'll get into some reactions unless you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, well, you have two different trajectories regarding these political figures and these celebrities. The celebrities at one time were diligently non-political, with some exceptions, because the vision was you don't want to alienate portions of the audience. And especially when you go back to the old studio system, where they really had control over curating the images of their stars. They were under contract and morals clauses. There were certain ways that they were contractually obligated to present themselves. You very rarely saw them get political. Marlon Brando turning down the Oscar was such a big deal because nobody did things like that back then. Nobody made those kinds of statements, particularly around the Academy Awards. Over time, the celebrities decided they wanted to become political people. And it's been rightly observed that that was part of what destroyed the myth or cult around celebrities. It used to be when a guy like John Wayne went on a Barbara Walters special, whatever his failings, which I'm well aware of, but for an example, people were very interested because they felt like they didn't have access to what this person really thought or what their life was really like. People would be fascinated back then by seeing the inside of their house and the way that they live. It was, everyone would watch these things. Now nobody cares because everybody's putting it out on Twitter, and also by making it clear what their politics are. And not only that, Hollywood almost decided to make itself a PAC, a political action committee that's entirely aligned with the liberal class, as distinct from leftism. Entirely liberal class, Democratic Party, Clintonian neoliberal identity politics kind of a thing. They lost the public. Here you're seeing a parallel trend where you have what starts as a political movement, and over time they adopted the means and aesthetics of Hollywood and really went in the direction of making themselves more like celebrities than like political people. And just like the celebrities who are supposed to be entertainers destroyed their credibility by getting political, these political people have destroyed their credibility by becoming entertainers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is a very good way of putting it. Well, Benny Johnson took issue with this. He says this is wrong. Oh yeah, yeah. But if you're only consuming out of context clips from terminally online haters, I can understand how you'd get here. We love Tim, and I hereby invite Tim Dillon to the next America Fest to see it live. Maybe Tim can interview J.D. Vance and Nicki Minaj main stage. Yeah, and here are some of the comments to Benny's there. You've lost touch. He's spot on. All of us on the outside see it like this. Benny, you're literally getting funded to report on behalf of the Trump administration. Sit this one out until you report for the people instead of reporting for the government. Yeah, see, people get it. People get it. And here's Majestically Awkward saying Tim Dillon is right. And yeah, this is a video of Charlie Kirk saying that Nicki Minaj, of all people, is bad influence for on young people.
Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't think that songs that are talking.
Yeah, well, I mean, that she hadn't stuck up for the persecuted Christians of Nigeria at the time.
Yeah.
Then there's this. Nicki Minaj's husband sentenced to home confinement for failing to register as a sex offender. So imagine a progressive PAC, put on a conference and they invited someone like that there. Imagine what the MAGA outcry would be. But this was a funny meme. Here's some Nicki Minaj lyrics. Ice my wristy, then I piss on bitches. You can suck my Disnick if you take these jizzes. You don't like them disses, give my ass some kisses. Yeah, they know what this is. Give bitches the business. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. And the MAGA guy. Amfest, here we come. Yeah. No. Very on brand. See? It's entertainment, folks. It's all entertainment. But hey, Candace Owens validated this.
Well, I think this is the other side of, libs love it when arch conservatives come and make nice with them. Steve Schmidt, who gave us Sarah Palin. This is the right-wing version of that. They always feel kind of left out of the entertainment world. They love it when a figure like Nicki Minaj endorses them.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, it's huge for them. It's a huge break. Plus, they're used to getting, Hank Williams III as the celebrities over at those festivals. So Candace validates what he says. She says, everyone was thinking it. Tim Dillon said it. It was out of touch and elite. It is not and will never be relatable for blue-collar workers to endure lectures from wealthy people telling them who is and is not evil. Recreating the tent Charlie died under for selfies. Seriously? Yeah. Yeah, it was amateur, it was awkward, and it was out of touch. And given the spectacle of it all and the context in which it happened, I think everything he said there was true, which is why that clip went as viral as it did.
I mean, TPUSA, it's just a very high budget version of the traveling con artist medicine show preacher. That's all that is.
It's just a think tank.
Come into town and just tell people, oh, yeah, and the devil's going to get you if you do that. Oh,
right.
And $1 and you can see the goat man who was cursed by God. It's a big con. It's a big con. It's a traveling tent revival con being played on a massive scale with a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. I meant to say it's more than a think tank as of right now, but I think they are en route to becoming just another think tank because I think the grassroots support that Charlie was able to generate through his genuine leadership skills, whatever you think of him, was something that they're not going to be able to keep going. Not if that was any indication.
She doesn't have that kind of mind. You can tell. And if she did, she wouldn't have done the thing she did.
Nobody does.
You go out in the memorial with pyrotechnics, and if you had the slightest sense of how to manage your image, you would have said no, that's so tagged. That would be terrible. We can't do that. What is this, WWE? The fact that she didn't think of that tells you she can't handle this.
Well, it's not just her; it's all of them. I don't think
All of
anybody
them.
there has any
Oh,
leadership.
no.
Cole's not a leader. The other guy, Blake Neff, the guy, I mean, forget it. I mean,
Yeah, it's a clown show.
It's amateur hour. Yeah. Yeah. It's amateur hour. And I don't think that like Charlie's death is the reason the movement is collapsing. I think the reason the movement is collapsing is because of fish rots from the head down. And the head of the MAGA movement was not Charlie Kirk. It was Donald Trump. And look at everything that's happening now. But I mean, how would Charlie Kirk react to the news of today? What would he say? Like, what are any of these people saying? What is Benny Johnson saying? I haven't seen any tweets from him about these new Epstein files. I haven't heard from anybody. Right? What are they just ignore it? You can't ignore it. There's no way that this movement can survive this. It's not a survivable event to have this happen. That's why the people who are playing their cards right are the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Thomas Masseys. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene's leaving the government. Thomas Massey's not. But the people who have a long-term plan are getting as much distance from this as possible now, which is not what Erica Kirk did. Erica Kirk went up and endorsed J.D. Vance. Okay, so now you're tied to this for the next 3 years, whether you want to be or not. That's stupid. That doesn't show vision. It doesn't show forethought. That's not leadership.
Yep.
All right. You got some super chats over there?
I sure do.
All right.
I surely do. All right. From Michael Castillo. Tim Pool's shooting is not substantiated because he won't release surveillance footage. I know. I was looking at that. I was thinking about doing a story on that. Yes, it is not. It is not. You are right. Mark P. Thickow. God Jewel from Sweden. Is that how y'all say it? You are the best guys. I learn and laugh so much every stream. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's very kind. Yada. Pope Francis put a keffiyeh on Jesus at the Vatican. Did he? Did he do that?
All right.
Yeah. Dave, 1984. Anyone else think Miriam Adelson looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter? All right, that would be a funny side-by-side picture. Burning the land. Some Christians are also good humans. Sure. So are some everything. T. Pancrats. If you can manage one more kick of the dead horse, check out the lyrics of the J.D. Vance intro song from Amfest. Long, cool woman in a black dress.
Oof. Is that right?
Smitty Jones III. Keaton really enjoyed your new show. If you cover music docs on there, you should check out Big Star. Nothing Can Hurt Me.
Yeah, so we're doing the first series that we're doing, amidst other things, is top 5 albums from 1986 to when I was born. But yeah, no, I'm assuming you're talking about the band Big Star.
Well, didn't you just do
who
something
I like
else?
a lot?
You dropped a video about something else.
Yeah, there's a new Scott Weiland song, singer from the Stone Temple Pilots, that I put out a review of, and then we're going to do an album countdown, an album ranking of all the Stone Temple Pilots discs. And so, yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up for sure. But yeah, that does sound like a cool documentary. I do like Big Star, but they were earlier. They were like early 70s, but I do like that band quite a bit. Some really great songs off of I forget the name of the album. Was it a self-titled album with just the yellow star on the black cover? But that's a great album. A lot of great stuff on there. So thank you for the recommendation. I didn't know that documentary existed.
It's funny, man. You work with a guy for what the fuck, 5 years, 6 years now, 6 years. And I knew Keaton was into music. I did not realize you were like one of those baseball stats guys with music, like that you're into it like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I never really thought of myself as a music geek. I just like to listen to a bunch of stuff. And once I got, the iPod and the streaming going, it was just like, I just listen to different stuff all the time. I never really considered myself like a student of it, but I guess I accrued enough knowledge that I could pass.
I mean that's a lot of this job, man. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. I guess I can pass.
You're coming off as an expert to me, man. I told you, we talked about it offline. I was very impressed that he dug up XTC. I was able to speak knowledgibly about XTC's album.
Well, on my next one, this isn't going to be a top 5. I'm doing 1987 next. It'll be out someday this week. So I'll give a little tease. I don't think this is going to make the list, but this is a runner-up. So here's one. I don't know if you know this one, but this is one of those kind of quirky bands that not many people have heard of. They're called the Bats. You ever hear of the Bats? They're from New Zealand.
Mm-mm.
All right. All right.
Nope.
So
I mean, I might
that'll
know
be,
the music if I heard it.
Yeah, that'll be on there. At least probably as a runner up. Yeah, all right. Yeah, see, every time this is part of why I got the idea to do the show, because every time we mention something, we get a conversation going in the chat here. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. All right. What else we got here? Let me do an ad read for John Koa.
I mean,
got...
the first time I get sick in Southeast Asia, I am gonna do 10 minutes about my dysentery. So
yeah, that's coming up on my channel. Yeah.
That's coming up next.
Russell throws up an octopus tentacle in Bangkok.
Russ blows out to see a brief bathroom.
Yeah, right.
Anchor Watt no longer standing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. There you go. That's good. That's good stuff. Hey, John Koa, speaking of music, John Koa's new album comes out on New Year's Day. He's been a sponsor of ours for a long time, so congratulations on completing this 34-song album called A to Z, Songs from the Tape Deck, covers, originals, built on lyrics. We have premiered a few tracks off the album. We'll probably play at least one, if not two more, on Sunday's show on the intermission, because that'll be our last primetime show before the release of the album, which is on New Year's Day. So dudissidents.com/Koa is where you can go to follow him. You can follow him on Spotify, Apple Music, or on YouTube. All the links are right there. New Year's Day, a midnight release, rolled out in every time zone on Earth. So every time zone on Earth, no matter where you are, this will be available at midnight New Year's Day. That's dudissidents.com/Koa. Okay. All righty, folks. Because we're having so many tech difficulties today, I don't know if I should do the scroll today. I don't know if we want to chance it with that. But I will remind everyone that we are going to be doing our patron post game after the show today. So the last two segments of the program will be for members only, and then we will continue the show and take your calls over on a secret members only Rumble link. So if you sign up right now and you go to the most recent post, you will see the link to that show on here on the patron post list, and you can join for the post game and you can call in if you'd like. So patreon.com/Do Dissidents. Treat yourself for the holidays. Buy yourself a membership for Christmas. Just $5 a month. All right. How are we doing over there in the chat over there? Are we good? Let's see. We over there? Let me see. How are we doing over here?
All right, you got Rumble Rants.
We got Rumble Rants. I just want to make sure that the says both streams are out of alignment. How are we doing over there on the patron stream? Are we coming through? We're here? All right, good. All right, you're here. For some reason, it's not loading on my end. I know we had a little bit of a technical issue, but it does say it's rolling, so that's good. Rolling is good. All right, all good over there? Let us know in the chat over there if you're having any problems. I know Eric Rousseau says 1986 Slayer, Rain and Blood. That's one of the chats over there. So thank you for that. Eric Rousseau gave us a chat over on the private side. And what else we got over here? Nujoma, no mention to mention their skin color of the language they speak. Thank you, Nujoma. Those are the Afrikaners. Okay, let me just make sure we're good. Good. All right, still coming through. All right, beautiful. All right. Let's see here. Nujoma says, can Russell share a high-level overview of his travel plans, country duration? Lived in BKK nearly 2 years. I was the one that sent the ladyboy warning as a joke. Laos is also let's see, ran out of characters there. Did it copy over correctly? Is also great to visit. Great to visit is what it says over here.
All right. So you want to throw up a link to my channel and to your channel, because we're getting questions about both of them.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So this is Russ's channel, youtube.com/@RussOnTheRoad NYC. That's Russ's channel.
I am
so go
right
subscribe.
now right now. The India videos are on there. My trip with Jose to see Bill and Ted do Waiting for Godot. I'm going to be putting up some other stuff from the vault. I've got a lot of my theater content because that channel was built off my old theater site. So I'm going to be putting stuff up between now and my departure, but it's really going to kick into high gear when I go out there. So I am going to Bangkok, Chiang Mai. I am taking a boat up the Mekong to Laos. I don't want to say it wrong. I'm going to sound like an idiot. All of a sudden, it escaped my memory. Luang Prabang, Vang Vieng, then Hanoi, Sapa, Da Nang, Hoi An, Ho Chi Minh City, Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, and then I go to China.
There you go. That's the itinerary. So that's coming up on Russ on the Road NYC, youtube.com/@ Russ on the Road NYC. And then mine is youtube.com/@ Shuffle Pod. So that's how you reach my channel if you'd like to go and subscribe over there. And thanks everyone who has. We had a big response. Both of us got a lot of signups. So thank you all very much for
Thank you all
taking an
very
interest.
much.
Yes, that means a lot. Yeah, we're up to 2,300 over on the other channel. So that's awesome. Thank you all very much. Okay, let's see here. Yes. So Nujoma asked, did you send out a link by mail for the members Rumble show today? You mean by snail mail? No, by email. Yes. If you're on Locals, Substack, or Patreon, then you will have gotten the email with the links in it. So those three. Now, if you're a YouTube or a Rumble member, you don't get the emails. That's a separate thing. There's no way for us to email out to those. So those are not the same perks as and that's why we say Patreon, Substack, or Locals. That's where you go for all of that stuff. Okay, let me here. Why don't you take a couple more super chats? I'm loading my exhibits in little by little.
Well, what's next? Am I?
No, I'm doing Tucker and then Barry.
Okay.
I have 3 in a row because we switched the first 2 because of the technical stuff.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sparky, did you guys see James Lee's recent video about Erica's blood relationship to the gangster Rothstein, who paid off the Chicago White Sox to throw the World Series? Erica had a head start in life. I saw that he did mob ties. I didn't know it was to Rothstein. I used to do mob tours of both the Italian mob, the Jewish mob, and actually the Irish mob. As far as I know, I was the only tour guide who covered all 3 of the major classic mob groups, you could call them. So yeah, I know a fair amount about Rothstein. I got to watch that video now. I'll be curious to see what that tie is.
Well, it's weird because Charlie Kirk was a big Cubs fan, as I understand, right?
Was he?
He was a Chicago baseball fan. Yeah.
So this was just all part of a Rothstein scheme.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Go after the Cubs fans.
Was it you, Sparky, who sent that chat into Jimmy last night? Because I saw they got a chat about that last night too. Somebody said they couldn't find the Shuffle Pod. The link is now pinned in the chat. I pinned it for you. So there you go. That's the link. Trust me, that works. There is a Russ on the Road that's not NYC. Because first I forgot what yours was.
So I saw that. It's some like local channel.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So is mine pinned?
No, I just pinned mine so that they'll have it, and then I'll pin yours after this. Or I can pin yours. Here, I can pin yours right now. What is it? Here. youtube.com/@ Russ on the Road NYC.
They didn't let me do Russ on the Road. I guess that's why, because that schmuck in some local market out there. He's like a TV reporter. And so the last post of that is from like 7 years ago or something.
Oh man, the chat's moving so fast I can't catch it. Come on, catch it.
All right, Michael.
Pin message. There it is. Okay, now it's pinned. All right, there you go.
Thank you, sir. All right, Michael Castillo. They met on the set of Big Daddy, Free Palestine.
There you go.
All right, one more.
Hobo
Jesus, MAGA guy on Nicki Minaj lyric tweet resemble Keaton fairly accurate. Are you comparing Keaton to Wojak? That's not nice.
All right, we will move right on along here. Alrighty, folks. Well, it is the end of the year. The votes have been counted. And yes, anti-Semite of 2025, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson named Anti-Semite of the Year by prominent Jewish organization after alarming interviews. So just to clear things up before we go any further, as Glenn Greenwald points out, thankfully, prominent Jewish organization, a tiny X account that spent the last 2 years trying to get people fired for having a Palestinian flag on their laptop or criticizing Israel, run by some dumb, fanatical Soviet immigrant who hid her identity to hide her past racial tweets. Yes, that's the prominent Jewish organization that they speak of. Podcaster Tucker Carlson was named Anti-Semite of the Year by a prominent Jewish civil rights group for offering platforms to Jew haters and bashers on his show. Carlson's dubious distinction from Stop Anti-Semitism comes as fallout continues from a friendly October interview with white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who has pushed conspiracy theories about Jewish control of U.S. politics, media, and finance, denied the Holocaust, and called for what he described as a holy war against Jews. By an overwhelming vote margin, Tucker Carlson has been named Stop Anti-Semitism's 2025 Anti-Semite of the Year. Stop Anti-Semitism founder and executive director Leora Rez, told the Post. Carlson's divisive, hateful, and dangerous rhetoric and his repeated glowing interviews with bigots and Hitler apologists have made him the most reviled Jew hater over the last 12 months, Rez added. Now, we should mention this is a past tweet of hers in which she calls Ilhan Omar a variation of the N-word that I won't say or show here, but we brought this up in a previous segment. Yeah, so that seems kind of hateful and divisive as well. Carlson's interview, a little bit. Carlson's interview with Fuentes drew controversy from the start, with the white nationalist telling the host he was a fan of Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin, who promoted policies that discriminated against Jews. Well, I mean, kind of made up for it a little bit by, defeating Hitler, right? Yeah. I mean, it's about actions. Actions speak louder than words. It's a funny defense of Joseph Stalin. I just thought of that right now. I cracked myself up. We're good, aren't we? Carlson himself slammed Christian Zionists for supporting Israel, saying they had been seized by this brain virus during the chat, singling out former President George W. Bush, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee, and U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. Funny how an attack on Christian Zionists is branded anti-Semitic, even though the attack is against Christians. It seems like more what you're worried about is that he's anti-Zionism, anti-Zionist than anti-Semitic, right? I mean, an attack on Christian Zionism is an attack on an ideology, because the person who holds that ideology by definition will be Christian, right? So why is it anti-Semitic to attack Christian Zionism? Because they're not Jewish, they're Christians. Oh, it's not about whether they're Jewish or not, it's about whether they're Zionist or not. That's the criteria. That's what they're looking for.
And let me ask you, because I only saw clips of this, but looking at the way they phrased it, it seems they wanted to get that in there, but that's not the reason he said he liked Stalin. So did you see it in its entirety? Do you know why he said he was a fan of Stalin?
The Nick Fuentes interview? I don't actually. I didn't watch that whole thing.
I'd be curious to know why he said
I would be
liked
curious
Stalin.
because, he interviewed Daryl Cooper as well. Daryl Cooper is very anti-Stalin, very anti-Russian. I mean, Cooper's argument is that essentially if we couldn't fight the Nazis without partnering with the Soviets, then we should have just not fought the Nazis because it wasn't worth it to arm the Soviets. And that's a view
it's Patton's view.
Yeah, exactly. And that's apparently Tucker Carlson's view as well. Now, and I don't know whether Nick Fuentes has said that or what the context of that conversation is. I did not watch the entire episode. But here, Stop Anti-Semitism put out their big supercut of Tucker Carlson's greatest hits, ceremoniously awarding him Anti-Semite of the Year. Here he is, a longtime media personality, now reinvented independent journalist. Carlson uses his platform to normalize
anti-Semitism. Led by a man
anti-Semitism.
called Zelensky, sweaty and rat-like, a persecutor of Christians. a friend of BlackRock.
Okay, so just notice how like insanely dishonest they are. They're putting up these old, tropey anti-Semitic cartoons. Obviously, they're adding that as editorial commentary on his content. But if you're one of these,
that wasn't the backdrop for the show.
Right, exactly. Like if you're one of these people who wouldn't know better, certainly if you are brainwashed enough to take Stop Anti-Semitism seriously, you wouldn't necessarily know that they added that editorially. You might think that he actually put that up there, right?
Yeah.
Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do? And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him?
Well, Christian Zionists, like, what is that? Right. And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody.
The main challenge to that, a big challenge to that, is organized Jewry in America.
For over 2 years, Israel has murdered tens of thousands of children on.
Oh, that's an anti-Semitic. That's an anti-Semitic attack. That's actually just a statement of fact. But look at how they frame that. He repeats blatant lies about the Jewish state. Alongside that,
big challenge to that is organized Jewry in America.
For over 2 years, Israel has murdered tens of thousands of children on purpose.
Needs to be shunned. 2025 Anti-Semite of the Year. Tucker Carlson. Well, he beat out Miss Rachel. That ain't easy to do. Apparently, Miss Rachel didn't even make the top 3. It was Stu Peters and Bryce Mitchell. They were the top 3.
She got robbed.
Yeah, she got robbed. She got robbed. Yeah. Her and Pierre Batista Pizzaballa snubbed this year. So Maural tweets out, is this a parody account? Because this is probably the best marketing for Carlson. And no, my initial question was rhetoric. Also, what happened to Miss Rachel? She's going to be upset about this. Well, she's probably relieved since, Miss Rachel is normal. She doesn't want the heat that this brings on her. And by heat, of course, we are talking about the heat from Leora Rez. So this is the brains, if you want to call them that, behind the Stop Anti-Semitism handle. So here she is talking about how people who her organization targets will essentially become unhireable and have their lives ruined.
Shine a light on you. We will shine a light on you that thanks to Google and SEO will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented, again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs. Some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully.
Wow. Yeah, your lives are going to be ruined. Well, how about this one? How about Voice of Rubble tweets out? Hold on, I got to grab this one. My apologies. I'm loading everything in little by little because I don't want to overwhelm the Voice of Rabbis, not Rubble. Haha. Voice of Rabbis. I'm loading everything in little by little. I don't want to overwhelm the system since StreamYard has been very finicky. So apologize for that. But here's someone who seems pretty anti-Semitic to me. Here's a Zionist attacking a Jewish pro-Palestine protester using what I imagine is some pretty hateful, bitter, and divisive language.
Oh.
Too bad.
Hitler made a mistake. You should have been in the gas chamber. Too bad. But we're here, and you're gonna go to hell.
Wow.
What?
You're gonna go to hell? Wow. Wow. Wow, you talk about a self-hating Jew. How about that? Unless she's a Christian Zionist. I don't know. If she's a Christian Zionist, does that matter? I don't know. Is the criteria Zionism or Judaism? But man, a lot of hatred, a lot of anti-Semitic hatred directed towards Orthodox Jews protesting against Israel's genocide. So I wonder if the tech overlords are going to seek out who that person is and ruin their life? Or is the criteria, of course, anti-Zionism? The problem that the Leora Rezes are going to have, first of all, Tucker is he's an entrepreneur of sorts. He owns his own shop. He doesn't need anybody to hire him. So you're kind of wasting the award on him, right? Anti-Semite of the Year. I mean, it's not like he works at ShopRite and they're going to fire him. There's nothing really you could do to cancel him at this point. But look, to watch someone like this say a thing like that, it is scary, obviously. But I don't know how most people feel about this. I don't feel as threatened by these people as I used to, because you know what you actually need in order to implement these kinds of plans where we just, out and cancel and ruin anybody who criticizes Israel. You need a public that actually gives a shit, a public who actually thinks they should be on board. I just don't buy that HR departments are going to be shocked and appalled to learn that a potential hiree opposed genocide. I just don't think that that's the case. I really don't. I really don't. At the beginning of this, I did. I mean, we saw it. It was not hypothetical or theoretical. Right. At the beginning of this, we actually saw a lot of the protesters at the Ivy League campuses have job offers rescinded because they were outed as having protested against Israel. I just can't imagine that being the case for much longer. I think ultimately what this is going to turn into is what Glenn Greenwald said, which is a relatively small X account, a relatively insular clique of haters who just delude themselves in their own bubble. And I think when you look at their selection of Tucker Carlson as anti-Semite of the Year, that is a reflection of their own irrelevance, right? Who's going to have a more lasting cultural impact, Tucker or this woman with the painted eyebrows? It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, it just comes off as kind of pathetic at this point. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe that's too online a take. But you could definitely see the writing on the wall. One slide that I meant to include, and I just realized now I forgot to do, is they took a poll of the Turning Point crowd, sort of an exit poll as the conference was wrapping up. And turns out only 13% of those in the crowd said that Israel was not an ally of the United States. And the Zionists made a big thing about this, about how, the Turning Point USA isn't as anti-Israel as people thought it was. And that may be true on the rank and file level, but it's not true at the media level, right? I mean, you see a guy like Tucker and someone like Candace Owens. These are what we call leading indicators, right? When you lose people like that in positions of influence and leadership, it's only a matter of time before that starts reflecting in the numbers. And when you actually poll Republicans, especially younger Republicans, support for Israel has entirely collapsed, and it's collapsed largely because of Tucker Carlson, which makes it no surprise that they have a hard-on for him. But in the long run, there's absolutely zero doubt in my mind that the broad consensus will be that Tucker's side of this argument is the winning one.
These people are so sick that I think they would like to have picked Ms. Rachel. I think that enough of them realized there's just no way to do that kind of sizzle reel with her without making yourself look ridiculous.
Imagine putting a trailer of his
there was an account who tried to do that, who tried to do cuts of Ms. Rachel, putting her in a really bad light, and it just made them look like a complete asshole. It just didn't work.
It looks like a literal joke.
Right. Showing her going, "Hi, kids." Literally, that's what
I believe you. It's just, it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a real thing. And just got completely destroyed online. And they say, there's just no making that work. We just can't show her with the double amputee 5-year-old,
right,
and work up the kind of outrage we can around Tucker. There's There's no editing in the world that's going to make that work out for us.
Right.
I agree with you, and I don't. In terms of public opinion, broadly speaking, yeah, they lost. Obviously, they've completely lost the argument. They've completely lost public. A lot of Zionists and Zionist affiliated people are deeply entrenched in powerful positions.
Sure.
And that's where their influence really lies.
Sure.
That's where they can get a company to fire people, not based on people who are actually working in the company feel that way, but based on pressuring people at the top who need to maintain good relationships with Zionists for their business. Otherwise, they're going to come for them, and they have something to fear in the social strata they're in from these people. Now, over a longer time horizon, nothing lasts forever, man. Nothing lasts forever. Like, you cannot maintain a ruling class whose central core beliefs and priorities are this totally out of touch with the people they purport to rule without the chickens coming home to roost. 1789 should teach you that, right? Like, sooner or later, people will overthrow a system that's that out of balance with the actual will of the people. So their days are numbered, but they're not done yet. They still that bee still got a sting in it, not among the public, but among the proprietors. You're muted, man.
Sorry about that. I think at a high echelon of the sort of business ladder, that's true. It's hard for me to imagine like a regional manager of J.C. Penney's being fired because they criticized Israel online.
Yeah,
like I think,
sure,
like in high positions of influence,
Yeah.
yes, what you're saying is true. But these people want to be able to go after anybody, just like people went after people for
Right.
making light of the death of Charlie Kirk. That's the climate they want to
Right.
create for all anti-Zionists, and I don't even think there's anything.
I agree.
There at this
You need a certain amount of broad cooperation.
You
for
need
that.
broad cooperation, right?
Right.
You need the underlings to give a shit, and the underlings don't give it. The underlings, to the extent they give a shit, most of them are sympathetic with the protesters at this point, right? Where you go, I would hire you, but you talk shit about Israel on Facebook. So no, I don't think that's happening in like daily life, very often, if at all, which is good, which means they are losing. Okay. Let's go to some Rumble rants and some super chats here. Bonzo Bean says, seriously, guys, church service without face masks in winter in a war zone with children. Every life counts. Thank you, Bonzo Beans. Still braving myself for Gabor Mate to show up in the ongoing photo dump. Yeah, bracing yourself. I think that's a typo, but that's okay. Is it safe to say that Mahmoud Khalil is a front runner for Dissident of the Year? Happy Festivus and happy anniversary to you, Keaton. Well, thank you, Virtuoso. Yeah, sure thing. Absolutely. Eric Cousseau rants on private stream. Yep, I saw your rant over there, Eric Cousseau. Thank you. T-Bone, I agree. Miriam Adelson looks like the dog, the bounty hunter, and sounds just like Klaus Schwab. Thank you. Yes. Vienticus Prime, I can't get that name Pizza Bola out of my head. It's like an Italian gangster brick oven chef name. Yeah, I remember Russ found out his name live on air. I remember I read that live on air, and that was a big moment. Ex-Barbarian, sincere holiday wishes, comrades. Thank you for your work. Also, I just switched from YouTube to Rumble. Seems Rumble has like a 5-second delay. Weird. Well, yeah, they're blasted out on StreamYard separately, so it could be, sometimes it's the case. In fact, it's often the case that one of them is like slightly ahead of the other. Did you send out a link by mail for the Rumble show? Oh, I answered that one. Yep, the link is in the email. Keaton, will you be doing any lyrical analysis on the shuffle? I eagerly await your dissection of Nicki Minaj's Anaconda. Yes, there we go.
I mean, you should. I mean, it would be pretty funny. You should do that.
Yeah,
like you should grab songs like Wet Ass Pussy and do like a breakdown, but play it straight.
Play it totally straight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be good. Eric Rousseau, I've done that exact 2-day boat ride on Mekong River from Chiang Mai to Luang Prabang back in 2007. Oh, yeah, cool.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool thing. Angkor Wat was very cool, very steep stairs. That's what I hear. Russ, got to check out the Thai-Cambodia border war correspondent Russell Daviler.
Yeah, so I was looking at that, and apparently it is heating up. I was watching a video about that last night. Like Thailand's doing airstrikes into Cambodia.
Wow.
But yeah, it's at the border. It's at
Dude,
the
the
border.
world really is too small.
You
It's too
know,
small. There's no place to go to just get away from all this shit.
I mean, from what I'm seeing from my research, the basically like, yeah, just don't go into the border zones, which none of my travel plans do, and you should be fine.
All right, folks. So this is our last segment on the public feed. If you'd like to get access to the post game as well as the call-in Q&A, now's your chance. Patreon.com/Do Dissonance to sign up and then check the most recent posts and join us for the post game. How many people we got in the post game room already? 71 filing in over there. All right. Last segment on the main show before we wish most of you a Merry Christmas, and the rest can all join us over there. Before we do that, we are at 2787 in the YouTube and the X room combined. It's before these. 25. All right, here we go.
Okay. As you probably heard, CBS News chief Bari Weiss pulled a 60-minute story sparking outcry. Now, the only people in the country, I think, who were shocked that Bari Weiss is turning out to be an absolute disgrace to journalism, maybe readers of Racket. Those are probably the only people described by this. As a lot of you will probably remember, former reporter, current bottom bitch to a dry drunk, Matt Taibbi, told us all that anyone who took issue with Barry's appointment was a jealous loser who just had the gumption to do what she had done. That was his take. That's what Racket readers are paying for, that kind of insight.
That is
so let's take a look at the overall timeline of how you get to this story getting pulled based on my research and investigation. So you might remember Netflix. This is just a couple weeks ago, December 5th. This story is from. We covered it at the time. Netflix agrees to buy Warner Brothers in an $82.7 billion deal that will transform Hollywood. Now, other bids for Warner Brothers came from Comcast Studios and from Paramount, owned by Larry Ellison, run by his Nepo baby son, David Ellison. So because of his inside track with the administration, people were very surprised that this didn't just go to Ellison. A lot of people kind of saw that as a foregone conclusion. Now, not long after that, we don't know if Trump was intentionally signaling that he might help to throw the deal to Ellison by blocking it on regulatory grounds. But at the Kennedy Center, he was asked about it, and Trump seemed to indicate he might block the deal.
They be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And also, and I'll be involved in that decision too. They have a very big market share.
Did he make any guarantees to you about the merger if they do merge?
No, not at all. He came up. He was in the Oval Office last week. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great person. But he's done one of the greatest jobs in the history of movies and other things. He's got a lot of interesting things happening aside from what you're talking about. But it is a big market share. There's no question about it. It could be a problem.
Mr. President, you mentioned.
Okay, so this is Donald Trump we're talking about. Like Donald Trump could give a flying fuck about media consolidation. So when you hear Donald Trump using words like market share, and they're going to have a lot of subscribers. Okay, man, he's sending out a signal that maybe he's going to block this deal based on antitrust grounds, which it's not that there are no grounds for that. There are grounds for that with Paramount buying it. There are grounds for that for any of these big players buying it, particularly with Netflix. Okay, sure, because they're the biggest streaming service, but this is Donald Trump we're talking about. Do we really think he cares about that? So couple days after the Netflix deal is announced, 60 Minutes does an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, in which, among other things, she says, I stood for women who were raped when they were 14 years old, and the president that I fought for 5 years called me a traitor for that. And so that changed the landscape of things. He didn't like the sound of that. Didn't like that much. The only reason Marjorie Trader Brown, green turns brown under stress, went bad is that she was jilted by the President of the United States. Certainly not the first time she has been jilted. Too much work, not enough time. And her ideas are now really bad. She sort of reminds me of a rotten apple. Marjorie is not America First or MAGA because nobody could have changed her views so fast. And her new views are those of a very dumb person. That was proven last night when washed up Trump hating 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl, who still owes me an apology from when she attacked me on the show, with serious conviction that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was produced by Russia, not Hunter himself, totally proven wrong, interviewed a very poorly prepared traitor who, in her confusion, made many really stupid statements. The real problem with the show, however, wasn't the low IQ traitor. It was that the new ownership of 60 Minutes Paramount would allow a show like this to air. They are no better than the old ownership who just paid me millions of dollars for fake reporting about your favorite president, me. Since they started, 60 Minutes has actually gotten worse. Oh, well, far worse things can happen. P.S. I hereby demand a complete and total apology, though far too late to be meaningful, from Leslie Stahl and 60 Minutes for her incorrect and libelous statements about Hunter's laptop. President Donald J. Trump. Now, if that's not some Cartman shit, I don't know what is. I'm still waiting for my apology. Quote me. You can mail it to me. Okay, so next in the timeline, they drop a trailer about this CECOT segment, which we cannot show. We cannot show because they have gone after everybody on copyright claims, as we will see. We ran a test before the show. But okay, so they put out a trailer for it, about 30-second teaser trailer. Not long after the trailer drops, Trump says this at a rally in North Carolina.
But NBC's really bad. And CBS, I mean, I love the new owners of CBS. Something happens to them, though. 60 Minutes has treated me worse under the new ownership than they just keep treating me. They just keep hitting me. It's crazy. And
that is really portrait of a narcissist. They just keep hitting me. They're being very mean to me. They don't recognize my exceptional gifts. It's, it would be a shame if Netflix has that deal go through without any particular resistance.
Look at the people behind him. They don't even know what to. They don't know how to react. It's just like he's lost.
Lo and behold, editor's note: the broadcast lineup for tonight's edition of 60 Minutes has been updated. Our report, Inside CECOT, will air in a future broadcast. And for good measure, Bari tweets this out. Albert Brooks, Kathy Bates, Mandy Patinkin, Kiefer Sutherland, Jerry O'Connell, Annette Bening, Michael Douglas. Tonight celebrate Rob Reiner and his unforgettable movies. Jasper Nathaniel responded, using Rob Reiner's corpse as a human shield. Classy move, Bari. She is nothing if not classy. And what breaks? What breaks right after this? Right after this, Larry Ellison personally guarantees Paramount bid for Warner Brothers. Mr. Ellison's personal guarantee is meant to address concerns that the Warner Brothers Discovery's board had expressed about Paramount's original offer. So they were concerned they didn't really have the money. So he is personally guaranteeing the family trust as a guarantor of the deal. Now, there are still other questions of the deal, but now the Warner Brothers board, which had soundly rejected his offer last night, was having a follow-up meeting right after this story got canceled to reconsider his new bid. Here's Ryan Grimm. Barry's boss, David Ellison, wants to buy CNN and Warner Brothers, but his bid was too shaky, and Trump was annoyed at some CBS coverage of him. So now they have rebid with his daddy, Larry Ellison, using the family trust to guarantee the money. And Barry spikes a piece critical of Trump. Then they air a homage to Rob Reiner instead. These are awful people who make the characters in Succession look virtuous by comparison. No lies detected there. So this is a timeline. Look, Brian Stelter, we've mocked him along with every other person with any credibility in this space, but he has contacts into CBS. He's been doing some pretty good behind the scenes reporting on this. So this is kind of boiling down his report. Thursday night, Bari Weiss first screened the segment. She had notes for the producers and the story moved forward. Friday, the staff thought the story was ready to go. The correspondent, Sharon Alfonsi, taped the introductory remarks. The executive producer gave CBS News PR the green light to publicize the segment. Saturday morning, Weiss messaged the EP with new concerns. The correspondent had already flown home to Texas by the time Weiss insisted on changes. Apparently, this got pulled 2 hours before it was supposed to air. So this is not that Weiss saw this segment and she had concerns. This is somebody from the White House saw the promo and called Larry Ellison about this. I think you could take that to the bank. We don't know, but we know. Earlier this month, this is from Brian Stelter. Earlier this month, after President Donald Trump blasted 60 Minutes for interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene, correspondents noticed a change behind the scenes. Bari Weiss got personally involved, specifically with stories about politics, a source at the program told CNN. That is no surprise. And this also from Brian Stelter. Here's what Bari Weiss said on the CBS 9 a.m. call per a source who transcribed it. So, of course, there was a lot of anger at CBS among the journalists at CBS. So they had a conference call the next morning. Quote, I want to say something about trust, our trust for each other and our trust with the public. Now, important to point out, CBS did not actually have a problem with the trust of the public. It was one of the more trusted news organizations out there, whatever issues they might have had with ratings. And 60 Minutes was still considered the gold standard of news reporting, had almost universal trust. So this whole straw man that Bari Weiss has been setting up that, people don't trust the news because it has a liberal bias. Not 60 Minutes and not really CBS overall.
Yeah, no, and she's there lecturing them. I want to tell you about trust. These people know how to do their job. They're being
Right.
You come in, you
By an
kill a
opinion
story.
writer.
Yeah, by an opinion writer. You come in, you kill a story under the most suspicious circumstances possible. I would say the corruption is so obvious behind your motivation, and now you're going to lecture them. I want to say something about trust. Who the fuck are you? Who
Right.
are you?
Well, and that's according to all the reporting we're getting from inside the building. This was it.
Right.
This was it. She had no respect before. She has less than zero respect from them now.
Yeah.
The only newsroom I'm interested in running is one in which we are able to have contentious disagreements about the thorniest editorial matters with respect, and crucially, where we assume the best intent of our colleagues. Anything else is absolutely unacceptable. I held a 60-minute story because it was not ready. While the story presented powerful testimony of torture at CECOT, it did not advance the ball. The Times and other outlets have previously done similar work. The public knows that Venezuelans have been subjected to horrific treatment at this prison. To run a story on this subject 2 months later, we need to do more. And this is 60 Minutes. Yes, it is, which you burned to the ground in one night.
Unbelievable.
We need to be able to get the principles on record and on camera, meaning she insisted they had to get comment from the government, even though, of course, like you would always do with a piece like this, they solicited comment and they refused to comment, as they tend to do. Our viewers come first, not the listing schedule or anything else. This was a principal stat. That's my North Star, and I hope it's yours too. One reporter described this as a suicide note in terms of Bari Weiss's credibility in the building. And this is the email that she sent out. We'll read some of it, explaining what the issues were with this story. Now, if you are a patron and you're coming to the other side, we are going to show some of this, and it's particularly relevant to the story because a lot of what she says is problematic about the story is a lie. It's just a straight up lie. Like, it's not even true that the story has the deficits that she's claiming it has. Last month, many outlets, most notably the New York Times, exposed the horrific conditions at CECOT. Our story presents more of these powerful testimonies, and putting those accounts into the public record is valuable in and of itself. But if we're going to run another story about a topic that has by now been much covered, we need to advance it. Listen, we've watched the segment. I'm sure a lot of you have. I haven't seen a segment like that that's that well put together and researched on this story. I haven't seen that. Among the ways, and not only that, that's not even an argument. You're 60 minutes. You're elevating the story. You're putting it in front of you are running the gold standard of investigative journalism. It's worth it to do it just to put your stamp and imprimatur on that story.
Yeah, there's a lot of Israel genocide apologia in the media too. So when someone pitches you a story at the Free Press about how the Gaza kids are only starving because they have pre-existing conditions, do you ask them that same question? Well, there's been a lot of reporting on this, and we could print this.
Move on.
We have to advance it. Really? Do you hold all of your Israel, your Zionist propaganda to that standard? No.
Yeah, that's a pretty ridiculous excuse.
It's just so loathsome. So loathsome. I can't even be funny when I dunk on Bari Weiss. There's too much venom.
I bet you can if you try.
I can. Yeah. I mean, I can.
You've done it before.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm using your tweet. Your tweet.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Your
Yeah,
tweet
you're
was
right.
funny.
You're right. That was funny.
Among the ways to do so, does anyone in the administration or anyone prominent who defended the use of the Alien Enemies Act now regret it in light of what these Venezuelans endured at CECOT? That's a question I'd like to see asked and answered. I mean, I would like to see that asked and answered too. It certainly is not something that you need to do the story. Why would you need that to do this story? It's not necessary to the story. At present, we do not present the administration's argument for why it sent 252 Venezuelans to CECOT. I mean, you could look at the legal filing, right? I mean, it's pretty well documented. Any of the hundreds or maybe thousands of public statements they made about it. What we have is Carolyn Levitt's soundbite claiming they are evildoers in America, rapists, murderers, etc. But isn't there much more to ask in light of the torture that we are revealing? Tom Homan and Stephen Miller don't tend to be shy. Well, apparently they are shy because they were asked and they declined. So now you're holding the story hostage to them, as we'll get into from the producer of the segment. I realize we've emailed the DHS box, but we need to push much harder to get these principles on the record. So you asked, but you didn't ask hard enough. You didn't ask hard enough. You didn't ask enough times. The data we present paints an incongruent picture. Of the 252 Venezuelans sent to CECOT, we say nearly half have no criminal histories. In other words, more than half do have criminal histories. We should spend a beat explaining this. We then say that only 8 of the 252 have been sentenced in America for violent offenses. But what about charged? My point is that we should include as much as we can possibly know and understand about these individuals. We need to do as much as we can to satisfy the administration that we put their sending of people in violation of their due process rights to a torture dungeon in a quasi-dictatorship. We need to put that in as positive a light as possible if you want any chance of this airing, given the pending business machinations of our boss. Secretary Noem's trip to CECOT. We report that she took pictures and video there with MS-13 gang members, not Trenda Aragua members, with no comment from her or her staff about what her goal on that trip was or what she saw there, or if that trip was, or if she had any concerns about the treatment of detainees like the ones in our piece. I also think that the ensuing analysis from the Berkeley students is strange. The pictures are alarming. We should include them. But what does the analysis add? Now, King, correct me if I'm wrong, but what she's talking about here is the students are the experts in gang tattoos who were interviewed about the images of Noam there. So what do you mean? What did it add? That was the whole point of that Noam section, that she didn't actually take pictures with people that we had deported. She was taking pictures of people who had been arrested in El Salvador for being MS-13 gang members. What do you mean you don't need that? What are you even talking about?
It's ridiculous. It's absurd. First of all, that visit was like 8 months ago. You don't need a comment from Kristi Noem on a visit. I mean, that would be like asking George Bush for a comment if you were doing a 9/11 retrospective. Like, you don't need a comment
What was
from
he
her on this
thinking?
trip. Yeah.
What was
exactly.
he thinking at the time? We can't air this without that.
Without that, right? Exactly. It's ridiculous. And talk about giving the government power over a story. So you ask them for comment, and if they don't give it to you, then you don't run the story. Well, that means they have veto power over any story.
Well, Matt, we get it. We get into that with the producer. We need to do a better job of explaining, and we're going to explore this a little bit. We need to do a better job of explaining the legal rationale by which the administration detained and deported these 252 Venezuelans to CECOT, says the opinion writer. It's not as simple as Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act and being able to deport them immediately, and that isn't the administration's argument. The admin has argued in court that detainees are due judicial review, and we should explain this with a voice arguing that Trump is exceeding his authority under the relevant statute, and another arguing that he's operating within the bounds of his authority. Well, you know where you would not be able to find a voice arguing that? The Supreme Court, who decided against that argument 9-0.
Right.
So you're going to have to go outside the Supreme Court to find that opposing voice, genius. There's a genuine debate here. Oh, is there? Not according to the Supreme Court. If we cut down, oh yeah, that's a real lefty court they got over there that ruled 9-0. If we cut down Kristi Noem analysis, we'd have the time. My general view here is that we do our viewers the best service by presenting them with the full context they need to assess the story.
What?
In other words, I believe we need to do more reporting here. I am eager and available to help. Well, I'm sure I'm sure a cheer went up in the newsroom when they read that part. I tracked down cell numbers for Holman and Miller. Oh yeah, nobody in the newsroom has a cell number for them.
Yeah.
And sent those along. Please let me know how I can support you.
It's a 15-minute segment. This is for a 15-minute segment.
Yeah, of course.
You know, every news segment has to delve into the issue as deeply as you want. It's a 15-minute story.
Yeah. Yeah, well, clearly she's trying to find an excuse that will pass muster with actual journalists, but it will not.
It's so
Andrew Prokop. I'm old enough to remember Bari Weiss complaining about self-censorship at the Times and how politically sensitive pieces could run only after every line is carefully massaged, negotiated, and caveated, and at how pretextual complaints about a story not being strong enough were used to justify caving for political reasons. Remember that? Remember that big resignation letter that she used to launch the Free Press? Right? She was the outsider at the New York Times who was tired of being censored and self-censorship. There's a little bit from that. And so self-censorship has become the norm. This is Bari Weiss, her resignation letter from the Times that she made public. What rules that remain at the Times are applied with extreme selectivity. If a person's ideology is in keeping with the new orthodoxy, they and their work remain unscrutinized. Everyone else lives in fear of the digital Thunderdome. Online venom is excused so long as it is directed at the proper targets. Op-eds that would have easily been published just 2 years ago would now get an editor or a writer in serious trouble, if not fired. Well, you know, I think the newsroom at 60 Minutes is now saying things that you could have put on the air 2 weeks ago can now get pulled off the air or get you fired. All right, so let's take a closer look at this bullshit about judicial review. As part of that email to the staff, she says the administration has argued in court that detainees are due judicial review, and we should explain this. And as I pointed out, Supreme Court has already held 9-0. The process used to send people to CECOT violated due process. There wasn't even a single dissent. Weiss is making up a debate that has already been settled. It's settled. What, there's no two sides at this point. Greg Siskind. And since Barry Weiss at CBS doesn't think there's anything new in the 60-minute CECOT story, here's some breaking news. Judge Boasberg just certified the class action by CECOT prisoners and granted their summary judgment motion. This is a major win for the rule of law, and this just in. Judge orders the administration to submit plans for return of migrants deported to El Salvador prison under Alien Enemies Act. Over 200 migrants were sent. They are saying their due process was violated, and they must be brought back to the United States. Well, that sounds like something. Why didn't she suggest that? Why didn't she say, hey, I would like to add on because this is breaking right now. It's relevant to the story. That would be reasonable, right? Let's add that on and air it. No, it's not what she's suggesting. She wants to pretend that there's a range of opinion on a subject that was settled 9-0 by probably the most conservative court we've had in 60 or 70 years.
Yeah, what she's saying is we need the torturer's side of the argument. That's what she's saying. She's saying there's a good argument to be made for the fact that these immigrants should have been tortured and sexually assaulted and told they were never going to see daylight ever again. That's what's in the piece. And the piece is pretty straightforward and pretty powerful and pretty accurate. The lawyers looked it over. It was good to go. No, this is just, it's such naked corruption from such a vile fucking lowlife of a piece of shit. Barry Weiss.
So this is from the actual segment producer. She put this out to the newsroom. News team, thank you for the notes and texts. I apologize for not reaching out earlier. I learned on Saturday that Barry Weiss spiked our story inside CECOT, which was supposed to air tonight. We, Ori and I, asked for a call to discuss our decision. She did not afford us that courtesy/opportunity. Our story was screened 5 times and cleared by both CBS attorneys and standards and practices. It is factually correct. In my view, pulling it now, after every rigorous internal check has been met, is not an editorial decision. It is a political one. We requested responses to questions and/or interviews with DHS, the White House, and the State Department. Government silence is a statement, not a veto. Their refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient.
Of course.
You know who might have thought of that argument before trying to make it? A journalist, an opinion writer who's never actually been trained as a journalist, doesn't actually know the ins and outs of journalism, wouldn't think of that before coming up with excuses for why they pulled this story. If the standard for airing a story becomes the government must agree to be interviewed, then the government effectively gains control over the 60 minutes broadcast. Well, that's kind of the idea. That's what she's there for. We go from an investigative powerhouse to a stenographer for the state. These men risked their lives to speak with us. We have a moral and professional obligation to the sources who entrusted us with their stories. Abandoning them now is a betrayal of the most basic tenet of journalism, giving voice to the voiceless. No. According to Barry, the job of a journalist is to give a bigger voice to those who already have a voice and allow them to use the platform you give them to claim that they're oppressed. That's the purpose of journalism for Barry. It's certainly what the free press is specialized in. CBS spiked the Jeffrey Wigand interview. For anyone who doesn't remember this was back in the 90s. And it was a very shocking story at the time because 60 Minutes is so respected. They killed a story from a tobacco industry whistleblower who had documents revealing that, what everybody knows now, that the cigarette companies knew cigarettes killed people, but spent years putting out fake science and junk science, funding fake studies to muddy the issue. Very much like what Bari Weiss wants to do here with this. Let's hear from the other side. Let's hear from the pro-torture side. CBS spiked the Jeffrey Wigand interview due to legal concerns nearly destroying the credibility of this broadcast. It took years to recover from that low point. By pulling this story to shield an administration, we are repeating that history, but for political optics rather than legal ones. They were afraid back then that the tobacco company was going to sue them. We have been promoting this story on social media for days. Our viewers are expecting it. When it fails to air without a credible explanation, the public will correctly identify this as corporate censorship. We are trading 50 years of gold standard reputation for a single week of political quiet. I care too much about this broadcast to watch it be dismantled without a fight. Sharon. So, very well put. Good for her. Here's Adam Cochran. Wow, Global TV in Canada has an agreement to broadcast 60 Minutes for Canadian audiences. They received their copy before Bari Weiss killed the story. And while they delayed it, likely to check with lawyers, they've now uploaded the full unedited release. Well done. The best laid plans of whores and propagandists. So, yes, last night, I'm sure a lot of you saw it. It was originally just this file that was shot with a cell phone of a TV screen. Now the actual file has been uploaded by a lot of people. That's what we're going to look at on the patron side after this segment. But yes, that did get around quite a bit. Covey. Bari Weiss forgot that the 60 Minutes segment she tried to kill was still streaming in Canada. You only see this level of incompetence in people who work for Trump. That's exactly what we were saying last night when we saw that. Like, she's so inexperienced and incompetent. She didn't know how to kill the story properly. She did not know like who she'd have to call and how she'd have to go about it. Youssef Menayer. Wait, so Bari Weiss tried blatant censorship and failed hilariously at that as well? LOL. Mr. Keaton Weiss. So CBS hired the only Jew who can't control the media.
That's right. She's supposed to be able to control the media.
What do you mean
you
can't be funny with Bari Weiss? Look at you go. Now it didn't take long for them to start trying to ban this, but the internet, man, once something gets around, even with the copyright claims, it's too late. It's whack-a-mole. There's just too many places for it to pop up.
Well, the copyright claims are completely illegitimate, first of all, and this is the issue. So just to be clear with everybody, when we go over to our Patreon post game, we'll show some of the segment in question. There's nothing illegal or violative of any guidelines about playing that. It's fair use news commentary.
Fair use. That's what we do, news commentary.
Yeah. Now, Rumble doesn't have automated copyright claims where people can just terminate a video and basically leave it to the claimee, if you will, to protest. The way YouTube works, and I understand that it's a huge platform, so you can't have total manual review of every copyright claim, but there should be a policy at YouTube that if somebody disputes that copyright claim and it is found that you leveraged a frivolous copyright claim against somebody, there should be a penalty for doing that because that would deter people from doing it. Like, I understand there has to be something automated here because YouTube is YouTube. There's millions upon millions of videos being uploaded, but there's got to be some recourse because the reason we can't show it here is not because it breaks YouTube rules. It does not. And not because it's not constitutionally protected under fair use. It certainly is, because the YouTube policy is anybody can claim a video and have it taken down.
Yep.
And the claimant has ultimate power over the person they're making the claim against, which is not a healthy environment to do news coverage because this is clearly fair use.
Right. Of course it is. Of course it is. But we cannot show it here.
Right.
So, hey, man, good on the folks at Rumble. We could not show it at all if they
Right.
did not have the policies they have.
Right.
So, Brian Allen here. CBS is now filing copyright takedowns to scrub copies of the banned 60-minute CECOT segment. They didn't just pull the story, they're trying to erase it. That tells you everything. Yep, it certainly does. But Prem Thacker here got a hold of the whole thing. That's, I think, the file that I'm going to use it from. That's not shot off of a TV. That's the real file. And here's his commentary. Based on the leaked 60-minute segment, some of Bari Weiss's stated reasons to stop it seem inaccurate. She said it did not present the administration's argument for deporting people to CECOT. It does. She said it did not detail deportee criminal histories. It does. Those of you who are coming over, we'll take a look at that. David Cleon. I am starting to wonder how long Bari lasts at CBS. It's true David Ellison is a moron, a fail son, and a right-wing Zionist ideologue, but I assume he expected to get some bare minimum competence for his $150 million. Almost literally no one respects the new boss. Well, if he had taken a look at the actual numbers that Free Press was doing, he would have known not to expect basic competence. Or if he had even looked at Bari Weiss's history of failing up over her whole career, he should have known what he was getting himself into. Adam Gentleson. Bari Weiss seems to be speed running the Chris Licht timeline. Chris Licht was the failed installation at, I believe that was CNN. They put him in to revamp CNN. He didn't last very long. Buy-in from the top only gets you so far. If you fail to deliver ratings while repeatedly embarrassing the brand, as we covered the other day, the Erica Kirk town hall was a ratings disaster, and the advertisers also stayed away. They literally showed a Chia Pet ad in the New York market. That is how desperate they were. What's remarkable to me is how exposed she has become within the building in such a short time. Her credibility is shot, missing screenings while making plenty of time to interview Erica Kirk in what turned out to be a ratings disaster. Her reasoning for pulling the CECOT segment will be laughed out of the room by real journalists. You can't be this unserious and be ratings poison. Yes. I think this experiment is going to end a lot sooner than anticipated. And Sarah Fisher points out here, prior to all of the CBS Paramount Deal Mania drama, 60 Minutes wasn't a news show audiences were rebuking. It's been the highest rated news program in the country for 50 consecutive seasons. If people thought it needed fixing, it wasn't the viewers. It's true. It's true. You know what? All these years in the trenches, I haven't even really seen conservatives complain about 60 Minutes. Like you could argue 60 Minutes is the last legacy media institution standing that most people trust, that most people don't really have an issue with. And then one of the legendary figures of CBS News came out to slam this decision, Katie Couric, in part. This is what happens when network owners are beholden to an administration for their business transactions. And a little later, she says, this is the kind of censorship journalists at CBS feared. It's appalling, but not surprising. And now it's happening. What a disgrace. I mean, yes, you would have expected it. And anyone who really understood who Bari Weiss was expected incompetence. But it's kind of like the Trump administration played out at a network. You expected this, but not so fast. You didn't expect it to all fall apart so quickly. And to close it out, Brianna Joy Gray, as many have observed, more people are likely to watch this because Bari Weiss spiked it than would have watched it originally. Yeah, you're seeing a major, major Streisand effect with a story that would have just fallen down the memory hole in 24 hours if they had just gone ahead and aired the damn thing. Now everybody wants to get a bootleg copy of this video. Everybody's, as soon as they pull it down with a copyright, somebody else puts it up. Yeah, you could say Bari Weiss's tenure at CBS is the Trump presidency of editor-in-chief jobs. It is amazing how fast she's burning the building down. But, somebody tweeted out, I didn't use it, but they made a good point. What did you think oligarchs controlling the news was going to look like? Vibes? You thought it was going to be kind of go under the radar? Yeah, this is what it looks like. How could she have possibly done the job they hired her to do without running up against this wall very quickly? Or even with the Erica Kirk thing, because the inherent contradiction here is the audience for something like that is online, and she's so incompetent that even with millions of dollars in oligarch funding, Free Press never did well online. It didn't even do well online. So why did you think moving her to a format that's not as friendly to town halls featuring the widow of the slain right-wing influencer, why do you think that was going to do better than it did in a more hospitable medium? So the whole premise was dumb from the beginning, because now you lost the Jennifer Welches. She called for a boycott right after that aired. Who is your natural audience for this? Advertisers are running away. And now you have this where, look, she's doing exactly what they hired her to do. Maybe somebody a little smoother, a little more qualified would have written a better justification, but it wouldn't have flown anyway. It just wouldn't have been as laughably ridiculous. You wouldn't have had the added impression of the person being completely out of their depth. But there's nothing you could have said to put lipstick on this pig and convince people this was done for anything other than political reasons, right as Larry Ellison is on the verge of mounting a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers that would need administration approval.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. It's so obvious, it's so brazen, and it just shows you what a low character person she is that you can watch that segment. It's a very powerful segment and not feel compelled to get the story out, right? Well, no, we can't do it because the boss has a deal pending, which is clearly what it is. It's the most transparently corrupt move you could ever think. They pulled this within hours of airtime. And then she sends an email about how we're not telling the whole story. It's a 15-minute fucking, like, what the fuck are you even talking about? It's so obvious. It's so obvious, and it's so shameful. But yeah, we will show the rest. We will show some of the footage over on the Patreon side. I guess once we do these chats, I just want to take this one first. Just subbed on Substack. How do I get the link? So if you subbed on Substack or any of the platforms, so once you subscribe, you get access to all this. And then the most current post is here. This is Substack, but the same goes for Patreon. You just click that, and because you're a paid member, you'll have access. That's what it looks like to be a paid member, folks, in case you're not. You get those links where it says click here to access the stream, and then the call-in link is right there as well. All right. So that's the way that looks. So there you go. That's how you would get the link there. It's the same. It's the most recent one. Okay. All right. Let's move on to some chats, and then let's move over to the patron side.
All right, we got a lot of chats here. Thank you, folks. Thank you. That's what they call Christmas bonus.
That's the Christmas spirit. Thank you.
Virtuoso. Erica Kirk reminds me more of that John Cusack character from the Addams Family Values. I fucking love that movie. I love that movie. You know how much I love the Raul Julia version of the Addams Family, those two movies. I did a whole video essay about how upset I was with Wednesday. That was the first one I did for the channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jim W. became a YouTube member. Welcome, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sparky. Yes, that was me who sent the Rothstein super chat to Jimmy's show. I'm shocked it hasn't gotten around. It's not just history. It's a currently active family business. Should have been mega buzz by now.
All right.
I'm gonna watch that video over dinner tonight.
All right.
Sparky, I'm pissed. Ms. Rachel got. She did. Stephen Tremino I'm reading this stupid, right? Stephen Treminio Guitar.
Maybe.
Is that how?
Yeah.
Awesome pod, Keaton. No longer pinned, by the way. Oh,
yeah, no, I know. I am.
Yep. Mark P. Thickout. It really doesn't sound like we rule the world and media when you say we're going to find you and destroy your life, wherever you are. Yeah, it does sound a little desperate, doesn't it? Peter Monahan, Gator Pete, gifted a Due Dissidence membership.
Thank you, Pete.
You very much, man. Peter Monahan, Gator Pete. Merry Christmas, boys, and Jake and the DD family. Wish you the best.
You too, Peter.
You too, man. Been crazy coming out from Epstein files to politics to Ballock's tones to Candace to Coach Collins to Venezuela. Just wow. Are they trying to explode our heads? Feels that way sometimes, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Sparky, Russell, when you're in Thailand, visit Brian Berletic of the New Atlas. You know, that guy, man, we tried to get him on the show. He never responded. So I don't think he's going to take me out for any foe or anything over there. Andy Gardner, careful on those Trump readings. Those all caps could give you a hernia. You know, I'm in excellent shape. I go to the gym a lot, so I should be okay for now. Kuznetsky Bassane, Rush, you really need to apply for a job as White House press secretary using The Voice. Yeah, I'm sure that'd go over with that crew. I'll fucking wind up in CECOT. Mark P. Thickout, have you heard about the proposal Sunset Section 230 Act by Lindsey Graham? Yes, it was also introduced by Sheldon Whitehouse.
Yep.
Or the sanctions against dissidents in EU, Jacques Baud, and over 50 more. Check out neutrality studies with Pascal Lotaz. I haven't heard of that. You heard of that, Keaton?
No, thank you, though.
AOB 52. Weiss's North Star is the Star of David. Not this Weiss, the other Weiss.
Yeah, the other Weiss. That's right.
Santa Claus. Merry Christmas, guys. This is the real Santa Claus. Russ, you can sit on my lap to make a wish any day. Thanks. Also, don't be a stingy bastard this year. Leave some milk and cookies for me to eat once I slide down your chimney.
Oh, thanks for the warning, Santa.
A lot of double entendres going on there. Andy Gardner, it's going to be a long time till touchdown brings me round again to find not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man.
There you go. Nicely done.
Yeah, but I mean, William Shatner's version is the best version. Katie Halper Show. Welcome, Katie. Russ is joining my show tonight. Keaton won't because he's a misogynist. He is.
Yeah. No, I only do shows hosted by men.
Yeah, that's why Tusker doesn't come on anymore.
Yeah. No.
Didn't like the vibe.
No.
Race Car K. Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for all of the witty insight this year. It's been a wild ride. Thank you, Race Car, and thank you for the 50, my man. And Peter Monahan, Gator Pete.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Pete.
$100. Russ, here it comes. LOL. The Sumerian tablet wrote and recorded the stories, Kath, Krista, Jewy stories 5,000 years before on clay tablets and buried them in the sand in Iran in cuneiform, which the Vatican stole and buried in the catacombs. Tell me different. I'm waiting. All right. So this is funny. I mean, for $100, man, the guy deserves a little bit of an answer. And I can actually give a pretty funny answer to that. So I've mentioned this on the show a few times, and this is true. So, you know, you have these ASMR videos on YouTube for people who can't sleep. I pretty much almost always wake up once in the middle of the night. And you have a genre of this that's like Secrets of the Vatican Archives, right? And that led me into, it's all videos like that. Like, this is the real basis for Satan and Zoroastrianism and pagan religion. And so, yes, I go to sleep all the time listening to ASMR videos about the Sumerian tablets that essentially lay out a lot of these biblical stories. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, look, when I say religion makes me feel like the world's a madhouse, that's part of what I'm talking about. Like, it's not hard to dig into the history of where these stories really came from and to live in the world believing that they're literally true. Not like, you know, I like the metaphor. I don't mean the Joseph Campbell mythology. They're signposts of the stages of life and psychological evolution. I mean, if you actually believe that shit, that's crazy to me. I don't know how you do. Because it's very easy to find out where this stuff came from. So I hope you got your $100 worth. I hope you feel you did. Andy Gardner, you're muted. Andy Gardner, CECOT isn't Epcot. Don't bring the kids free.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good one. Gator Pete, order equals religion equals politics equals control equals government equals slave. Yeah, man. I'm a rebel. I'll never ever be any good. I'm with you, man. Peter Monahan, Gator Pete, we are bordering the debut rattle stage of 1984. Ain't that the truth? Andy Gardner became a YouTube member. You weren't already a YouTube member? Well, welcome, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Peter Monahan, Gator Pete, get your world together. I have and ready to go rogue.
Thank you, Gator Pete.
We're all rogues around here. Peter Monahan, for the last chat before Christmas, have you heard of the satanic military circle that surrounded Charlie Kirk? Coach Colin bid an amazing breakdown. Charlie was a pawn of a military psyop. Coach Colin, do you know that channel?
I don't know that one, no.
All right,
No.
that's it.
Genitilis, how in the world did Barry's parents predict their kid would be so low down, throaty, and rotund that they knew to name her Maritone? Goodwood. T-Bone, I bet you many people voted at TPUSA voted that way because they didn't want to be on a list like that psycho bitch was saying earlier. They know the reach system has more than the libs. Could have also been, the question also was construed like, is Israel, I forget, but as a matter of fact, the United States does consider Israel an ally, so maybe people were voting as a matter of fact. Who knows? Let me respectfully correct. The H in Ghislaine means that you should pronounce it Ghislaine with a hard G as in go. It's the same in French and Italian. Yeah, I say Ghislaine. I leave out the S, and I don't really care if I'm supposed to. I like the name Ghislaine. Ghislaine is weird. Ghislaine, that's a very elegant name. I like it.
I say Ghislaine.
Yeah. The People to Infinite, if tongue-in-cheek song reviews are a thing, for the Shuffle Pod, it might be fun to do your best Shapiro impression as well, though that might be too many levels of inception. You already got Tucker down. Merry Christmas, Jews. Thank you, People to Infinite. Appreciate that. Professor Brown notes, says if that MRI did not reveal an actual 4-year-old inside 80-year-old Trump, I'd be surprised. Yeah, there you go. Get Up King says Russ goes mad and becomes a demigod in the Cambodian jungle. Will Keaton be sent in to take him out? I won't be sent nowhere. Stelter looks like a weasel made human. Yeah, he does.
You're
Raven
neither.
Last.
You're the errand boy who the grocer sends to collect the bill.
Over under, they pull the plug on Weiss in a year. Yeah, it could happen. Could happen. Pretty big disaster. Can you see if you can get Due Dissidence chia pets? I think those would sell. They may sell. Who knows? I can't imagine they're that in demand. They might do custom work. Thoughts and prayers, Matt Taibbi. Yeah. Tell me about it. Happy Christmas to my fellow dissidents. Happy Christmas, Sunrise. Appreciate that. Sunrise also says here, I am black, I am gay, I'm disabled, I am a woman. There you go. Congratulations on all of that, Sunrise. And thank you very much. Folks, thank you all very much for being here. If you would like to continue on with us, we have some more content and some calls to get to. Patreon.com/Due Dissidents. But that's it for the main show today. For those not coming over, have a very Merry Christmas. We will see you all back on the public channel on Sunday. We are, of course, off Thursday, so we will be back Sunday. We have 128 dissident patrons over there in the members-only room. Nice crowd filing in. For access to that, it's patreon.com/Due Dissidents and follow the link in the most recent post. Everybody else will see you Sunday. Thank you once again, of course, everybody, to the mods for keeping the peace in the chat, to the YouTubers, to the Rumblers. There will be a brief intermission while everybody switches over for the patron show if you are so inclined, and we will see everybody over there in 5 minutes. If we won't see you there in 5 minutes, thank you very much. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you back here Sunday night, 7 p.m. Until then, thanks again. Be safe and be well.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas and courage!
Please clap.